Broadcasting live from Cyberg's on Dorset for our tournament tip-off party.
Refreshed by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Shen to Broberg. Broberg score! Broberg with the wild card trip for tonight. Game winner, bring out the Zamboni. The Blues are in a playoff spot. Overtime win over the Vancouver Canucks.
Let's get nasty here on a Friday afternoon. It's the Fast Lane 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers with you here. Our guy Anthony still on a little family vacation. Well deserved for the Stalter family. We are live from Cyberg's off Dorset Road today. Part of our tournament tip-off tour, we'll call it. Hey, Marshy?
Oh, yeah.
You like that? T-shirt's available soon, I'm sure. So come on down here and join the action. Lots of games going on, exciting stuff, lots of great people, great food, all the things that we love. Bud Light, of course, sponsor of this as well. Boys, the Blues are officially in the playoffs.
Yes.
It's beautiful, man.
How are we feeling about that today?
I mean, that people will complain because you allowed the Canucks to get a point.
Do you think people are complaining?
I think so. Yeah.
You think?
I think there's some complaint, especially the way that the final goal was scored before regulation ended. Like that, giving up that goal with only a couple of seconds left, that probably stings more than it should. You know, you got the win. You got the 2 points. Giving up that goal, though, when you had an opportunity to get 2 points and allow them to get 0, may sting a little bit. But when I was watching that game last night, you know what I felt? I felt the warmth inside.
Really?
Yeah, like it was.
You can tell.
It was. I just felt warm. I felt fuzzy.
Yeah.
I felt like, man, I'm watching something meaningful in St. Louis, a sport that means something, a moment, a game. It was a meaningful game, and it's been a damn long time since I've watched anything that meant anything during the regular season for a St. Louis Blues or Cardinals team. I don't want to put City in it. I ain't going to put Mizzou. Sorry about what happened.
Oh,
Not really.
We'll get to that.
We'll
Talk about that later.
But St. Louis, man, the big two sports here, right? We got 2 of them. And it's been so long since I've been able to watch a meaningful game. And damn it, Jamie, I was at the gym working out. And in between my sets.
Bragger.
I got to get to it, right?
Of course.
I'm working out, and I'm watching, and I'm like, oh. I'm one of those people that are sitting on the machine taking all day because I'm watching the damn game.
I went to the gym too. I watched the whole first period at the gym.
Yeah.
But I was on the treadmill for longer than I wanted to be.
See?
Because I was dialed in.
You just don't want to get up. You don't want to move. You don't want to miss anything. It's been so long since I've watched a meaningful game for the Cardinals or the Blues, and last night was meaningful, and it was damn fun.
So last night I'll just say I was that fan.
Yeah.
Didn't have to work the game, which
Yeah.
sucked because I would have loved to be working that game, especially with the energy in the building. But sitting in the living room, Ashley and I are watching the game, and I'm the one, like, every time there's a play, I'm up and standing up.
Yeah.
I'm like 2 feet from the TV. Blues score. I make a massive noise. The dog's a cat. Everybody jumps up. They're, like, running around. They're like, what the hell is he doing? Why is he screaming? Then the Canucks score, and that's it. They're going to lose. They suck. You know, like that whole the roller coaster.
I never felt that way, though.
I didn't think they were going to lose. I was pissed.
When they gave me, I kind of a little bit.
I know.
I felt like, oh man, they're down. They've been up, and
I felt nasty. for
yeah,
feeling that way,
yeah.
too.
You're like, oh man, this is gonna be tough. And then they score. You're like, okay, all
We're
right, we're
back,
back in
baby.
it. We're back.
And then you
and
blink, and then
Holloway
they're
scores. You're like,
leading.
oh my God, this is it was a meaningful game.
Yeah.
And it's been so long since you can say that you've watched a meaningful regular season game for either one of these teams. It just feels like it's been a long time.
So we have to talk about the end of that game, though, because obviously, Jamie, you were a defenseman in the NHL,
Oh, boy,
and
yep.
there's a play that happens. It's actually multiple plays, but the first one that leads to all of this even happening is the Justin Falk clear attempt that goes into the
He didn't
bench.
go to the clear camp.
And I was just about to bring that up. If there was only a camp that someone could go to
Properly.
that taught you how to
Yeah.
clear the puck
Yeah.
out of the zone, especially with less than 30 seconds left in the game. What did you see from that? And I think a lot of people will say, well, he had a lot of time and space to do something else with that, because he did that prior. He flipped the high hoist. He
Yeah.
did that maybe a couple minutes before that as well.
Yeah, I don't mind.
And it worked.
Yeah, and I don't mind the play. The Blues defense corps actually have done a masterful job of using the high flip. We'll call it the Bobby Plager play, because Bobby used to love that. Just flip it out into the neutral zone. No harm, no foul. Well, Justin Falk got a little too much club on it, and it ended up on the bench, which it is what it is.
Happens.
It stinks. But then you get another clear after that. And here's where the frustration would hit me if I was a coach. You get that cleared into the neutral zone, and then you just let Quinn Hughes turn it back up ice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You should have five guys stack the blue line. No need to, like Pavel Buchnevich is trying to chase and do things like that, you know. But Justin Falk, the puck goes to Elias Pettersson, and instead of going straight at him, which is what he should have done, straight at him, stick on the ice, make him pass it through you.
Yeah.
He kind of took a bit of an angle and ended up ahead of the play. So now Pettersson had more time and space.
Right.
And by doing that, Suter was kind of trying to cut the ice in half because he thought Falk was going to challenge the play. And you don't want a loose puck ending up in the middle of the ice.
Right.
Because then it's a foot race by somebody else, and then you're giving up prime real estate. So Suter cuts the ice in half. But then when Falk doesn't make contact at all with the player of the puck, now Suter's in no man's land, and Brock Besser, who's far side, is wide open.
And
at that point.
By the way, they have an extra guy on the ice, too.
Yeah, they have an extra guy on the ice. And at that point, Besser gets the puck, and he rips a bomb. I mean, that thing was a laser beam. You know, Jordan Binnington, his hand is too low on it. He drops his hand. Should he have carried it higher? Yes, but Brock Besser is a really good goal scorer in the National Hockey League. So you gave up that one there, and it wasn't just the flip into the bench. There was like
it was like a domino effect.
5 or 6 things that happened post-flip where you even got the puck out of the zone
You had a
again.
chance, right. You had a chance.
And when it came out of the zone, I'm like, oh,
10
awesome.
seconds left.
We're done.
Good.
Me too.
It's over.
I could not believe when I was looking at the clock and Besser, and he shot it, and I just looked over at Ash and that's a good goal. That's going to count.
Yeah.
That's going to count.
Well, the same thing happened against Nashville, too. It was almost like the same play.
Pretty close, yeah, except the one-timer from Brady Shea right in the middle of the ice, top of the circle. That's a tough one, too, for the goalie to stop.
Right.
But you know what, though? The flip side of all that is we're disappointed. It's, they made some mistakes. They went right back at it.
Yeah.
And they got, they gave up possession of the puck early. They got it back from the Canucks. There were a couple of chances back and forth, and then Philip Broberg jumps up the ice. Yeah. First of all, I don't know what the hell. Vancouver went for a change.
Terrible line change.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Dylan Holloway, quick, tight turn. Yep. And all of a sudden, Braden Shen is wide open almost at the far blue line. Tape-to-tape pass, and Broberg says, hang on, hold my beer.
I'm watching him. I'm like, go! Go! Skate!
He loves jumping up in the play. There was a rush that he jumped up, and Matthew Joseph had the puck on the far side, I believe in the third period. And I was like, just dish it to him. And he ended up shooting it and missed the net, and it went around. I'm like, just give him the puck.
Yeah, Broby loves to activate, and he activated, and it really kind of mimicked the Jake Neighbors goal from a couple of games ago where he gets it forehand, pulls it backhand, and scores on the goalie. I mean, it was an awesome play. The building went friggin' nuts, of course. And now the Blues are in the playoffs by a point.
Yep.
And I know, the Vancouver still has a game in hand. You're right. But they have to win it. Yep. They have to win that game.
And we said this, we've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. As long as you're ahead, you control your destiny. I mean, obviously, with the game in hand for Vancouver, that changes things a little bit. But if you keep winning, that puts pressure on the teams behind you to do the same thing, to always have to get a point, which means they got to do something extra if it's close. They got to continue to push, which puts you in position to probably lose a game. So with the Blues playing as well as they are, I mean, that was a fun hockey game. And I think the last month has been nothing but fun hockey games to watch. And now they're getting more and more important. The only thing I could think was that was a meaningful game, and it's been such a long time since I've watched one.
It was a playoff game.
Yeah.
It felt like a playoff game. It was on ESPN. ESPN and TNT throughout the playoffs. They carry the playoffs, other than the first round. But, it felt like a playoff game, and the Blues were up to the task. It was a fun game to watch. My entire heart was beating the entire time. It was a feeling that I haven't had in a while. But, this team has given me that feeling that they can do something in the playoffs if they make it. I really have that belief. It goes back to 155 on that fateful day. 155 on that fateful day.
You know what, Marsh?
I said it in jest, but here we are right now. They're making their push.
You have been right.
So, guys, including overtime, the Vancouver Canucks only got 18 shots on goal.
Yeah, that first period was dominant.
18 shots on goal. Guys, that is domination. Like, I know you won by one goal. You gave back a point that you probably shouldn't have. But to outshoot a team 29-18, and that includes overtime, I mean, that is a masterclass in good checking, taking away time and space and taking away opportunities for the opposition. And that Canucks team is fast. They've got some good players. They've got some skill. So if the Blues can just continue to play like this, especially over the weekend, you got Chicago. I'll say it. I've said it before. It's a winnable game. You should be winning that game. And you got Nashville. Now, that one's going to be a little tougher. That team is going to want a little bit of revenge, and they played you hard the last time in Nashville. You didn't play your best game. You still came out of there with a nice victory, a 4-1 victory. But that's going to be a tough game. Those games are always a little more physical. They got a little more juice in that game.
Can I show you? I want to read a text from one of our listeners. And
we love when the listeners text.
This is how you know that the Blues are really fun to watch and they are playing well. The Blues are on a heater, and that is great.
What? That's it? That's the text?
From the 6-1 hate.
No! Yeah! What? You know what? I haven't heard from him in a while.
That's how you know.
I had a feeling.
Wow.
That's how you know.
That's incredible.
You got some positivity out of the 6-1 hate. You know they're playing well.
Well,
and tomorrow is his birthday. Happy birthday,
Happy
6-1
birthday,
hate.
6-1 hate.
Yes.
This team, like, they've looked better than every other team that they've played against. Like, and I know you just mentioned it, Jamie. Like, okay, you go to overtime with the Canucks. The Canucks, heading into that game, they're a playoff team.
Yep.
And you dominated them. You dominated. My buddy texted me last night. He goes, I don't know how to say this intelligently, but with the eye test with this team, we look so much better than that team. We dominated them.
So when they got down, it kind of felt for a brief second, before Tucker scored his goal, it kind of felt for a brief second, that's a good team. Like, you realize that as you get into the playoffs or you get closer to the playoffs, you're playing teams that got the same mentality, the same grit. They're not going to quit because they're down. And Vancouver was down pretty much. Like you said, the Blues were the dominant team for the majority of that game. Bolduc scored early, and now it felt like Vancouver was, and then they score. You're like, oh, and then they score. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that happened really fast. Mm-hmm. But the Blues, in comparison to years past, this team does not give in. They do not quit. They do not give up. The thing that worried me was how silent the crowd did get when that lead took place for the Canucks. I was like, oh, it's quiet in there, man. It feels like there's the energy is gone, and then all of a sudden it was back. So
real quick here, thoughts on Jordan Binnington when not facing a ton of shots? Do you feel like he's a goalie that needs to see shots early to kind of get into a rhythm?
Well, the problem last night is I don't think he saw any of the goals.
Right.
They went through traffic, around bodies, through armpits.
They could have had a few more, too, and Jordan Binnington's best friend last night was the knob of his stick.
Yeah. Sometimes the knob can be your best friend, Marcy, for sure.
All I've heard.
Yeah, as long as you got the right size knob on the goalie stick. If your knob's too small, that could possibly go in.
It's not good.
It's in the back of the net, for sure.
Yeah, so you want to make sure you always have at least the maximum amount of knob if you're the goalie.
So
for sure.
no, because I know there's people out there like, oh, Bennington's got to have that.
Did he
got
get
to have
the win?
this one. He got the win,
That's
absolutely. And there you
That's
go.
all that matters right now. Just keep winning. Him, Hofer, I don't care who the hell you put out there. Just keep winning, boys.
Yep.
Lots of fun right now here for the St. Louis Blues. All right, we are at Cyberg's today on Dorset Road. Come on by, say hi. Even if we're on the air, we love it. It's kind of fun. You guys stare at us and stuff. It's great. We love it. I got potato skins waiting for me here in the break, boys. They look really good. But we'll be here all day at Cyberg's. So, again, come on by and say hi. Gentlemen, we have to talk about something. Carey's going to love it. Most of us are going to hate it. But how will this Mizzou basketball season be remembered? Yeesh. We'll get into that next, right here on 101 ESPN.
Fast Lane is broadcasting live from Cyberg's on Dorset for our tournament tip-off party.
Refreshed by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
The Missouri draw, I know there are fans that are freaking out today with Drake.
Yeah.
That's fine. Go for it. Freak out about Drake. You ready for this?
Yes.
Here comes a BKO. Missouri will win this game by double digits. Missouri is the better team.
Brandon, Kylie, I love you, man. I hope they do. I hope they do. I hope what you just said, because they're going to clip it.
That's fine. One of these teams is better than the other, and it's not close.
Not great.
Not wrong either. Yeah, one of those teams was better.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Our guy BK so graciously subbed in on Monday to help out.
He's been on a heater lately.
Yeah.
Is that, we call it a heater?
Well, that's what
The
the,
reverse
618
heater.
called it, the reverse heater.
The voice you heard was Brandon Kiley from the Midday Show. He was subbing in on Monday, I believe.
Yeah.
And that was his bold prediction right there. He's a Mizzou alum as well. So I know that it really probably hurts him today. But, yeah, guys, not great. Mizzou basketball takes one right on the chin last night. And actually, before we go any further, Bradford, I know you're listening back in the station. You, too, are a big Mizzou guy. What are your thoughts today on what happened last night, and then what do you make of the season?
Yeah, overall, guys, given the way in which it started, obviously anything as far as an alternative would have been preferable to what you saw last year. You go from not winning a single game, of course, in league play to really tearing apart the better part of the SEC in the first half of the schedule. However, a lot of the same trends and patterns that we saw down the stretch, they once again manifested themselves last night. And I was really shocked to some extent, especially in that first half. You had more than a week to prepare for this Drake team. And not to take anything away from the group, okay? You won the Missouri Valley Conference. You were one of just 2 squads in the entire country with more than 30 wins. But to have that much time to prepare for a physically inferior opponent, I'm just going to say it. And for this team that has prided itself on being able to score at all 3 levels, around the basket, getting to the free throw line, being able to can it from deep, this team was woefully prepared to meet that challenge last night. So not only were you outplayed, you were thoroughly outcoached for that matter as well. And I don't think that's hyperbole, because you didn't start to see any adjustments whatsoever until well into the second half. And by that point in time, it was entirely too late.
So I think that what Missouri was, or what happened last night, is who they were all season long. You give up points in the paint is the one thing that I said that they could
were
not
a bigger
allow.
Team yesterday.
Missouri is
They
correct.
were yesterday.
And that's the issue. If you still allow a team to get into the teeth of your defense, I talked about it yesterday. They allowed 38 points in the paint. That's more than half of the points that Drake scored. Drake only hit 5 3-pointers, so they weren't a perimeter team. They were not playing on the outside. They're inside. They are beating you and beating you up inside. And so in terms of lack of preparation, it's hard to prepare for the one thing that you're deficient in. That's what they are not good at. They have not been good at that all season long. Even when they are the bigger team like they were yesterday, they still aren't good on interior defense. And if a team can get you in the paint and score repeatedly, and now it's putting pressure on you to go down, and you got to score on every time you're on the offensive end. If you don't, now they go down and score again. That's 4 points. Now it's 6 points. And it just makes it difficult for a team to win that game.
And they controlled the game, right?
Correct.
They had a ton of possessions where they took the shot clock down below 5 seconds. That's gonna be tough. It almost makes every possession that much more meaningful. And when you're not hitting your shots, all of a sudden you find yourself down. But they did claw their way back into that game, but unfortunately they just couldn't pull it out.
So then how will we remember this season? Because at one point, people were so fired up, they're talking about Final Four team.
We brought it up, too.
One of the best teams in the country,
Well, I
all of
brought
that
it up.
stuff, okay? And now you just got, not only did you lose first round, you lost to Drake, a team you should have fist pumped that team, and you didn't. So then if you're the athletic director at Mizzou, if you're the alumni at Mizzou, the NIL, all that stuff, how will you remember this team?
I think you still look at it as a successful season based on where they were last year. You went over in conference play, and now this year you had a much better season. You struggled down the stretch, but the things that you were deficient in, the areas that you were deficient in, you have to correct that. I go back to when they played Illinois in the bragging rights game in December. I said then, this team is not big enough on the interior, and they don't play hard enough inside. They don't got guys that can move. And I understand that the basketball landscape has changed tremendously, that it's not about bigs and post players, but there are times where you have to have a guy. I mean, Golden State Warriors are my favorite team. They finally got a 7-footer. He's not a Dikembe Mutombo, but he's a guy that is at least 7 feet and is in the damn way. It's hard to score over those guys, and he's a guy that can play outside in the perimeter. So Missouri has to be more athletic on the interior. I love what they do on the perimeter in terms of playing defense. Yesterday they didn't hit enough shots from the three-point line. I think we're 4 for 16. So that is detrimental to your game as well. Like you said, Marshy, if I'm going down and not hitting my threes and Drake is going down and getting inside the paint, dragging that clock out over and over, and they're scoring buckets at the end of their possessions, you're probably going to end up losing, and that's what happened with Mizzou yesterday. And it's still a good season, but I know Missouri fans are just sick about how this season ended because you shouldn't lose to that team in the first round.
No, Mizzou'd last night. Like, that's what they do, unfortunately. Like, that's what it is.
Is that just who they are?
I think that's what Mizzou, at least the big sport, like football, basketball, like Mizzou'd. That was the biggest Mizzou thing that to happen, right? It was on par with what we know of Mizzou sports. Like, it is what it is. How does Illinois prevent that from happening? Are you nervous, Carey?
So
Carey,
I've said the same thing about Illinois that I've said about Mizzou. Illinois could lose this first-round game, or they could make it to the Elite Eight. They could really put together a run because I don't know which Illinois team shows up. If they hit their threes, they're dangerous. If they miss their threes and they offensive rebound and give themselves second opportunities, they are dangerous. If they miss their threes and they are one and done on the offensive side, they're going to get their butts kicked. So it just really depends on which team shows up. This team has gone and beaten Michigan. They played Michigan State to they were up at one point and then just couldn't find a way to finish that game in East Lansing. Like, this is a team that I think could have been a 2 or a 3 seed, and here they are as a 6 going against Xavier. Like, we'll see which version of them shows up. They have to hit their threes, though, because they're going to shoot them. They are going to shoot them, and if they don't hit them, at least they need to get the offensive rebound. And that's how Illinois wins this game. Otherwise, I'll be sitting here. Well, I won't be sitting here. I'll be sitting on the beach. But I'll be thinking about what they should have done on Monday instead of looking at it the same way that Mizzou fans are looking at how today looks.
That's Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, alongside myself, Jamie Rivers. We are here at Cyberg's on Dorset. A little March Madness action going on today. So if you get off work or if you're working, a lot of people here, they're not working. They're here. They're hanging out. So come on by, say hi, enjoy a great afternoon. Guys, I want to talk to you about Doug Armstrong next. Did Doug Armstrong change the way general managers are going to do business? And did he change the Blues' future going forward? We'll get into that next, right here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Welcome back here to the Fast Lane, 101 ESPN. Bradford Bruns back in the studio, working the dials for us. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers here. Bradford, while I got you on the line, I think Marshy had some audio, and I want to hear the audio too. We cue that up. Marshy, what was the audio under?
Don't worry about it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, don't worry about
You
it.
seem very passionate about the audio.
I'm not that passionate.
I think you were. What if I want to hear it?
Yeah, Marshy, don't downplay
Why
your
do that?
passion.
All right,
You're
we can
important.
play it.
You matter.
Why can't I hear the audio?
Well, I can tell you why.
Why?
He's a little frustrated.
'Kay.
I think when Marshy gets frustrated, he's like
I'm not
us.
frustrated.
No, he's. Hey, Jamie, look at me.
Yeah.
He's like us,
Okay.
right?
I don't think he's like us.
No, he is. See, here's
I
the
think
thing.
we established earlier today he's not like us.
Well, okay, in that regard, yes. In other areas, he's definitely like us.
Okay.
Very spiteful. He has it. It's underneath.
Yeah.
I go back to last week when he sucked his teeth. When I made a comment and then pretended like he didn't do it, and then it made me think I was crazy, and he was like, "Yeah, I did do it." Like he see.
I actually enjoyed that.
I know
that was
you did
fair
because
play.
I respected it.
Yeah.
I was proud.
Yeah.
It was like a proud big brother. Like you get it now. You're getting it.
Okay.
I don't know if this is good. If we're leading him astray, or if it was already in him.
No. Following our lead is definitely good, Carey. Look at our track record. What? No.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably not.
I've already been a part of this for 3 years. I think I've learned a thing or two. It really isn't that important.
What is it?
The audio that you brought up.
Well, why is it not important?
Because it's not.
Okay, fine.
Well,
you
let's
know what,
go.
Bradford? Screw the audio then. For the rest of the show, no more audio.
Well, slow down now.
Marshy just said it. Doesn't
No.
want audio. So you know what? Forget it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Doug Armstrong here for a second, guys, because I think the man deserves his flowers. Not that we haven't given him some flowers to begin with regarding the Broberg-Holloway acquisitions, but what a serial killer. I mean, he swoops in on the Edmonton Oilers, and not only does he rob them of two young players, he robs them of two of the best young players in all of the NHL.
Yeah.
Think about this. Think about Philip Broberg right now. He's 23 years old, I believe. 22, 23, somewhere in there. And he's playing top 4 minutes on an NHL team that's making a run at a playoff race right now and played in the Stanley Cup final. Dylan Holloway, same thing. And go lock yourself in a closet and don't leave at this point. How the hell do you let those two guys go? We talked about at the deadline. The Oilers, their wish list was a young scoring forward and a good young two-way defenseman. You idiots. You had both of them. And Doug Armstrong swooped in from the top rope with the people's elbow, and he dropped it on the Oilers' jugular, and now you've got two of the best young players in the NHL. So I guess we can continue to just pump the tires of Doug Armstrong, but how much did that change the NHL? Because now the salary cap going up, that will help some teams hang on to players. Mm-hmm. But there are going to be teams that are up against the cap, and they're going to have good young players, and GMs around the league are going to say, you know what, remember what Army did?
Yeah.
That's savage. Let's do the same thing to this team, this team, this team.
Jamie, I was going to ask you, it was almost like an unwritten rule. It felt like that people didn't want to do it because you didn't want it done to you.
Yeah.
And even though it's fair play. It's in the
rules.
It's in the rules.
Yep.
You can do these things, but it almost is like it's never happened to this magnitude because teams, there was a gentleman's agreement amongst each other where I won't do it to you, you won't do it. We'll keep it. And Army's like, you know what? The hell with it. I need these two players. I know you can't or won't pay them. Yeah, I'll get them and they'll be on our roster. Yeah. And it is, I couldn't imagine where this team would be without those two players. Without those two guys on this team right now, the level that they're playing, and you know what else it does for me as a Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg. You can see what young players have when they get an opportunity to play extended minutes, extended time.
So, guys, when Army signed them, let's go back for a second. I want your honest answers. One, great job by Doug Armstrong. But what is the first thing you thought of when you saw the contracts that he gave both of these players?
The first thing that I thought was, and I didn't really care, but it was, he might be giving more money to them than they maybe deserve.
He totally overpaid, Marshy.
Yes.
Give yourself a gold star. That is the only right answer. Army,
but he had to.
He had to because he wanted to
put the
Oilers.
pressure on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So everybody he overpaid. That guy's only worth $2 million. That guy's only worth $1.5 million. Right now, guys, they're underpaid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're underpaid.
And I wonder if that goes into the next contract, because I can't imagine the Blues not wanting to re-sign these guys. I can't imagine.
They better extend them this summer,
Yes.
this offseason.
And I wonder if they're willing to maybe take a little hair less
With the
because
players? No chance.
You don't think so?
No.
I
Because
thought that's
you
what
know what they're going to say?
no.
We proved.
Yeah,
You
that's
didn't.
fair.
You actually didn't overpay. We proved to be worth every friggin' dollar. In fact, more.
That's fair.
He probably underpaid.
Who
and
saw
they're looking at
Dylan
it now.
Holloway tickling 30 goals?
Yeah.
Not
Right?
I.
Who saw Philip Broberg being a top 4 defenseman, probably your 3rd best defenseman on the team when Colton Parayko was in the lineup? That's a guy. Carey played 12 games last year in the NHL.
Correct.
So
Correct.
if I'm the agent, I tell Doug, hey, listen, we're not going to beat the snot out of you over the term of the contract.
Right.
But these players were worth every single penny you paid them
Yeah.
and more.
Correct.
So, again, Army has to extend these guys this offseason because you don't want to have going into the next offseason, they're
Yeah.
restricted free agents
Right.
again, but you better believe somebody's
Somebody's going to pay him
they'll come swooping in and try to pay
and
him.
put you in the same position you just put the Oilers
Yeah.
in.
Is it 8 years? Like, do you
has
match
to be.
everybody? Like, so we're all
Martian,
going at the same time?
Think about it.
Yeah.
Kyrou Thomas, 8 years. Booch, 6 more years after, starting next year.
Yeah.
Then you've got Parayko's got 3 or 4 more years on his deal. You want to make sure you keep him in the
Yeah.
group. Zach Bolduc, who knows? I don't think he's an 8-year deal yet. I think
He'll
that
be a bridge guy.
he'll be a bridge guy, 3 years somewhere in there. Jake Neighbors got the 2 or 3 year deal.
Yep.
And then these guys, there's no way you can tell me that Broberg and Holloway are not 8-year commitments.
Yeah.
Think about how good they're going to be in 8 years.
And you said, Jim, they're
They'll
only
be
23 years
they'll
old.
be 31 years
Yep.
old.
I mean, Dylan Holloway, to me, right now is in the same conversation the way that I look at Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas.
You should.
Yeah.
He's third in
And
team scoring.
That was not the – and it's not one of those like, oh, this is a one-off year. Like, I remember watching this guy play when he was at Wisconsin.
Buddy.
Like, he is a hell of a hockey player.
Yes.
And I think he is one of those guys that will be at the top of the stat sheet every single season. And I know that's not a bold thing to say, but
he's got 56 points. He's tied with Robert Thomas. Now, Thomas has only played 58 games, okay? So his points per game percentage is higher than everybody's. But Kyrou's at 59 points, Holloway at 56. Those two guys a year from now, if they're still playing together, what a friggin' nightmare.
Yeah.
Look at the speed they're using right now. They're figuring out right now, hey, we can outskate pretty much anybody in the league, and we're just going to go do that.
Jim Montgomery compared them to Timu Solani and Paul Carrillo.
Yeah.
Monty. Well, I'm going to see Monty tonight. Monty's going to be at the Blues Warriors Gala tonight.
You're going to ask him?
We have him on stage, and I am going to put him on the spot. I'll be like, really? We had Alex Ferrario compare Thomas and Kyrou to Hull and Oates last year. That didn't work out very good.
Not great.
Great players, but Hull and Oates?
Yeah.
Now we got Monty talking about Solani and Correa.
I mean, he is the coach.
5 years from now, you never know. I think what he was talking about was their sheer speed and how fast they play the game. I mean, because those are two Hall of Fame players. And if Kyrou and Holloway end up being like that, I mean, holy smokes.
Yeah.
It'd be unbelievable. But anyway, so the way Army did that has changed everything for the Blues. Because can you imagine this team right now without Broberg and Holloway?
We're not having this fun discussion.
Oh, no.
That's for
We're
sure.
not in this playoff race.
Not at all.
We're not having this discussion. So it was a master class in just pickpocketing a team. Not even pickpocketing, walking into their home while they watch you and taking their
Are
television.
you going to take that? Yeah, I'm walking out with it. You can get it back if you pay.
Yeah.
You can get it back. It's
You buy
yours
it back.
if you want it back, but you got to pay for it.
How much does it help that Stan Bowman is in his first year with Edmonton? Do you think that has anything to do with Army's ability to go in and get these guys?
I think, see, what happened to Stan Bowman, and part of me can't blame him. Edmonton Oilers are in win-now mode.
For sure.
They're in win-now mode. And I think when they looked at Holloway and Broberg, they thought, okay, those are long-term players.
For sure.
Who can we go get for this $6 million
Yeah.
that is a win-now player? He didn't know he had win-now players in
Right.
Holloway and Broberg.
Well, who's to say that they have the season, though, that they're having right
Well, they
now?
wouldn't.
Well, the question
On that
is,
team.
They wouldn't
are
get
they
the ice time.
Yeah.
is Holloway top 6 on that team, or is
No.
he top 9? So that
He may not even be top 9.
That's the
based
problem.
upon the way they have it evaluated.
correct. So that's the problem. Is
Yes.
again going back to younger players. he's getting top 6 minutes. He's getting an opportunity to showcase what he's capable of, and you probably don't get this same version of him if he's not getting that time or those minutes.
And Army had the luxury of saying, we'll play it out because we're in a retool.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out, I've got them for 2 years and we move on. You know, like there was really no harm, no foul. Whereas if the Oilers keep them and they don't work out, now they're looking for 2 players again at the deadline because they're in win now mode.
Well, and too, like Army this isn't the first time he's taken a stab at some young player. Some of the other players didn't really work out.
Yeah.
You know, Kapanen, Verana, Texier's up for debate. You know, he's not even in the lineup right now.
No.
Eventually, when you do take a stab at a young player, one of them or 2 of them are going to work out.
You think. And I just look at the basic skills, right? And I know we were up against it here, but I look at basic skills because that's what I do with Synergy Hockey is skill work. And then when I look at basic skills of Broberg and Holloway, the first time I saw them touch the ice, I went, oh, my God, these guys can skate.
Yeah.
Then the next skill, can they handle a puck?
Yeah.
Yes. If Holloway can stick handle around 2 guys in a phone booth.
Yeah.
Phone booth, Marshy, is something we used to have where.
Yeah, that's
it was-
where Superman turns into
that's what it is.
That's where Clark Kent turns into
My
Superman.
kids, I said that one day, and my kids,
There's a movie about that, too.
what's a phone booth?
Oh, it is a movie.
It's kind of it's a thrilling movie.
It is.
So,
Kinda
but
crazy.
you evaluate the skills on these guys, and then you think to yourself, are they smart hockey players? Well, that's up to you to decide that in the video room.
Yeah.
That's where coaches get with young players. Show them video and ask them to break it down. That's what I always do with young players. I want you to break down the play.
Yeah.
And when they don't get it right, then you can coach them through it and show them the things that they should be looking for. But then guess what? Every now and then they surprise you, and they break down that thing perfectly. And you go, okay, this kid's got a brain, too. It's the whole package. Now we just have to put it in motion. And that's what the Blues were able to do. They got 2 unbelievably skilled players who are really smart and really driven players.
And physical, too.
Physical guys. And now they were able to put that in motion, and look what the result is. It's been fantastic. So either way, Doug, hats off to you, buddy. Have a beer on me. You did a great job. Not that he needs to hear that from me, but either way, I'm sure it probably feels good. You know. All right, it's the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. When we come back, our guy Marshy's got what's trending.
Fast Lane is broadcasting live from Cyberg's on Dorset for our tournament tip-off party.
Refreshed by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
What are the hot topics in the sports world?
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It's time to find out with
What's Trending? Brought to you by Elite Comfort Experts. Heating and cooling with no gimmicks, just guarantees. EliteComfortExperts.com.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. What is trending is Cyberg's here on Dorset. You should come out. We're here from 2 to 6. Brought to you by Bud Light. We're here for March Madness, baby.
Yeah.
March Madness. Gentlemen, what's madness is what I saw earlier today regarding Paul Skeens. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a Major League Baseball debut patch card of Paul Skeens, and there's like this whole contest surrounding it.
Yes.
This young boy, this 11-year-old boy, pulled said card, and I believe at the time, if you pulled the card, you could get pirate tickets for 30 years or something like that. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating that. However, the boy didn't want to watch Pirates games, understandably so. The 11-year-old boy who pulled that card sold it for $1.1 million.
Wow.
Paul Skeens will earn $875,000 from the Pirates in 2025. So now this kid is essentially making more money than Paul Skeens. Now, I'm sure Paul Skeens is making more money based on
his signing bonus.
Endorsements, and all that stuff. But what do you make of a $1.1 million baseball card?
You know what? Good for that kid, man.
His whole life is sad.
I mean,
not whole life,
but honestly, though, truth be told, if he takes that and just puts all of it into a very low-risk investment, and he just lives his life normal.
He's 12.
Go through high school, go through college, maybe dad take a little bit for college if you need it. When this kid gets out of college or he's ready for real life, he will have earned quite a bit of money on that $1 million plus, and he'll be able to go buy a nice little home. He'll be able to live a comfortable life while just without being too crazy about it.
Yeah.
It's great, man. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, you're whatever someone's going to pay, that's what it's worth. I don't think, if somebody's going to pay $1.1 million for a baseball card, sign me up. I wish I'd have found it.
Yeah,
right?
no
I
kidding.
wish.
Oh, you don't want the Pirate tickets?
Nah, hell no. I'm good.
I was just in Pittsburgh. Beautiful stadium.
It is. It is a beautiful stadium. I told you all, I used to live right by PNC Park.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago. I never had any restriction getting to the house during baseball season.
No, no traffic.
Not any restriction going home, coming out of the house. It wasn't much. I didn't have much problem. And I thought, I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No.
Nobody's there.
No resistance.
It's no resistance. Just I can go home. I didn't have to plan around the Pirates game. Just get in and out when I felt like it. Didn't matter. So nobody watches
What's
those
that
games.
little area called around the Fairmont Hotel? It's like a bunch of restaurants and the Primanti Brothers is right there.
Oh. You're either talking about the fish market or you're talking about it's been so long.
I know. It's like something square, I thought it was called. I don't know. Either way.
Yeah.
It's a great Market Square, maybe
I don't
that's
remember.
Madison Square.
That's
Lafayette Square.
That's different too. Either way, it's a great little area.
I'll think about it and I'll get back to you.
It's a great
I'll
area.
report back.
Yep.
They cut the lights off for us, and now Jamie and Marshy kind of look like ghosts.
Well, it's kind of appropriate, really.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Why did it affect you, Carey?
See, when you're darker, and the light, it's all about lighting.
Oh.
I watched my movie, the movie that I'm in, and it was.
Go ahead and plug that.
Yeah, the Painkiller.
Yeah.
You can check it out on your somewhere.
Is it on Tubi?
On Tubi. Check out Painkiller. I was one of the featured people in that movie.
You?
Yes.
And sometimes the lighting just wasn't great. So if the lighting isn't great and you're darker skin, looks like you're black as the shirt I have on.
Oh,
it's kind of hard to see you. But in this situation, the lighting is directly on Jamie, and you kind of ghostly.
I feel like I'm back in Croatia.
Oh, geez. That reminds me of the Seinfeld episode with the Two-Face. I don't know if you guys ever watched
I've never seen that
Seinfeld.
one.
I saw Two-Face. Was that in Batman?
That is a Batman character.
Harvey.
Yes, Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
Anyways, Michael McGreevy, he's a good pitcher, don't you think?
I think so.
Good.
He gave up just one hit over 5 scoreless frames, walked 0, and struck out 4, and his spring ERA is 1.08.
He's not good enough for my team, though. If he doesn't have an ERA under 1, he can't play on my team.
Wow.
You mean if he has it's more like if his ERA is over 1, he can't be on.
Yeah.
Like if he doesn't
He
have
will
an
be on
ERA,
the team.
if he doesn't have an ERA of 9 or higher, he can't play for me.
Yeah.
I think that's the wrong way to go.
No, bigger's better. No.
No, not when you're talking about earned runs.
Oh, really? I got it backwards.
Yeah, you got it backwards.
Yeah, but if your batting average is high, it's good.
That's
right?
good. That's you hitting the ball.
Yeah.
Your earned runs is them hitting the ball against you and scoring.
Oh, that's not good then.
Nah.
But McGreevy's really good then.
His is really good, and we were talking about.
He's not even going to play here this year.
He might not. I mean, Victor Scott hit another. Victor Scott hit another home run. He might not be on the roster either. Who knows?
Get rid of that guy too.
Yeah. Who needs him? Right.
Get rid of Broberg and Holloway while you're at it.
Young guys.
Hold on a second.
Sonny Gray had an outing as well.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
Tell us about that.
7 hits allowed, 5 earned runs.
That's spring training.
Yeah, his ERA did go down though. It was at 13. Now it's at 12.5.
Oh, he's almost border where he can't play for me. He's got to keep that high.
Repeating?
Yeah, it was a little bit higher. He's doing better.
What did you say? High as hell?
High as hell.
That's his ERA?
Yeah.
That's what they
Official
categorize
stats.
it?
Sky high.
Is that how it's listed on the internet?
They don't even put a number there. It's just
high
high
as
as hell.
H-A-S.
Ha!
No, wait, H-A-H.
Hey, what did you say?
S-H-A-S.
Haas?
I don't know.
Has?
Has been?
Has?
No,
Oh.
Carey.
Oh, Jamie.
No, I didn't mean that.
You feel kind of.
We don't need any more abbreviations for baseball statistics. There's already a bunch that people don't care about. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, there it is.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a great area, Carey. You should try it out. Pittsburgh's
I'm
nice.
sure I've heard.
Yeah, you should go there sometime.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
There you go. See how
That's
it
very
goes.
good. All right, that was what's trending here in the fast lane. I'm going to have to get a flashlight out because we have no lights here. And I'm going to have to check out it. Oh, look at this. Katie Wu was on a podcast earlier today, and she said some things that we would love to believe. We'll talk about that. We come back here in the fast lane on 101.
return. The Fast Lane is broadcasting live from Cyberg's on Dorset for our tournament tip-off party.
Refreshed by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
It's a Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. We are broadcasting live from Cyberg's on Dorset Road. So if you have a chance to come on by and watch some basketball, say hi, grab some food, whatever it is, we will be here until 6 o'clock. Guys, our good friend Katie Wu from The Athletic has a podcast. It's called Cardinals Territory. And on that podcast, she said some things that had me a little bit happier. Carey?
You were excited?
I was a little excited.
Oh, what'd you hear?
I want you to hear what Katie Wu had to say.
All right.
Here she is.
The Cardinals are looking to platoon center field. We know this. We know Lars Nootbaar is going to see some reps there. We know that the organization has promised continuous at-bats to, take your pick, Jordan Walker, Nolan Gorman, Alec Burleson, Brendan Donovan, Mason Wynn, go down the list. Those guys are going to play every day. Obviously, your corner guys, Contreras, Arenado, they're going to stay there too. So in order to ensure the maximum number of at-bats, especially for the lefties, so you're thinking Johnny, Gorman, and Burleson, you have to put Nootbaar in center for, I don't want to say the majority of the time because the Cardinals have not said that, nor do I think that's their plan, but a good amount of time you'll see Nootbaar in center. So does that make sense for, even if it's a 75-25 platoon, does it make sense for Victor Scott to ride the bench for some of those games where he could be playing every day in Memphis? I guess his play this spring has ultimately forced that question to be answered, because I no longer think that that's going to be the issue. I think Victor Scott has played his way and deserves to be on the opening day roster. The Cardinals have not made a decision over him or Siani yet, but I'm sensing a vibe change. In my last roster projection for The Athletic, I wrote Scott would not make the roster and Siani would. I'm changing my mind. If I had to write another roster projection today, I would put Siani in AAA and Victor Scott on the roster.
All right, that was Katie Wu from The Athletic, her podcast, Cardinals Territory. Katie does unbelievable work, and she's about as dialed in as anybody is when it comes to the Cardinals. So, guys, how do we feel about this? Like, one, I guess I feel happy because yesterday we all talked about, playing well in training camp or tryouts or spring training, and not being rewarded. We thought that was we thought it was wrong. And so today to hear that might change makes me happy. But would you be happy with Victor Scott barely playing but still being on the major league roster? Like, I feel like the Cardinals are cardinaling this right now. Like, we can't send him down because our fan base is going to absolutely murder us.
Yep.
But we really don't have a spot for him because we want Nootbaar in center field. So we'll kind of sort of keep him around, and we'll reward him with some spot duty from time to time and see if that works out for us.
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. I think, and I don't know, Katie is dialed in, locked in more than we are. I don't know if he's on the roster. If he is, I think it's wonderful for him. If he's not playing, I think it's terrible. Right? I think both can be true. I think he has earned the right to play because he's done it. He's one of your, if not your best center field option in the field. And he's showing you that he can hit the ball, and he's hitting the ball really well. He hit a home run today against Framber Valdez.
Well, he hit another one?
Lefty. Yes. He hit another one today.
That guy's a really good pitcher.
He's a really good pitcher. He's
out of spring training.
Yeah, okay.
You're right.
Right.
My bad.
It doesn't matter. So, for me, watching him play, and if you're telling me that you're going to bring him up, have him on the opening day roster, and then not start him or play him every day, that's to me, that's madness.
Well, it goes back to our Broberg-Holloway discussion that we had earlier about how the Oilers handled them.
Yeah.
And now
you see where that got him.
Well,
on another
final, Game 7 wasn't bad.
I think this all comes down to, like, Nolan Gorman, right? We talked about this yesterday. Like, what is he going to do? Is he going to hit? If he's hitting, if everybody's hitting and Victor Scott is not playing, then, put him in AAA and let him just continue to play. But if somebody's not doing their job and they're not hitting the way that they need to be, I'm sorry. You can't be playing.
So for me, it's more than just hitting because of what he provides on the defensive side. Like I think that adds value to what Victor Scott brings to the table. If he were just a defensive player. Like Mason Wynn, we don't know if he's going to hit now this year. He hasn't done it so far in spring training. He plays really good defense. Does Nolan Gorman add value in terms of being a stout second baseman and making sure that you don't have those balls hit up the middle and being an elite second baseman? Because if he's not an elite second baseman and he's not hitting the ball, what are we doing?
Right.
That to me becomes the issue. Alec Burleson is probably going to be your DH, which means he's only asked to hit. He's got to do that. If he doesn't, that's a problem. I think Lars and Lars Newbar does both. He hits and he plays the field decent, really well for being a corner outfielder. So Jordan Walker, what is he going to do? He got a hit today, but he's not at the level that they need to see yet. But by all accounts, he's going to be your everyday right fielder. He's going to get the opportunity, same opportunity Nolan Gorman got last year, to fail if that's what he's going to do. So I think it's, again, it goes back to Nolan Arenado being on this roster that makes it difficult to give everybody an opportunity. But at the end of the day, if I work my butt off, if I do all of the things that you asked me to do, if I'm hitting the ball well, if I play the field well, and I still don't earn a spot, that is a level of frustration and that is hard to explain for people that wouldn't understand it.
We got a text from the 217. They can't develop a young player with platoons. I completely agree.
Yeah.
How do you this is exactly what they've been doing, and it didn't work.
As I said, the Cardinals are cardinaling right now. They can't get out of their own way when it comes time to develop young talent. And look at the move here for the Cardinals, guys, is that at all cost, doesn't matter, Victor Scott plays. Jordan Walker plays. Mason Wynn plays. McGreevy plays. Like, this is the time.
Yeah.
You've already missed the playoffs a couple of years in a row. Your management, front office, has told the fans that that this is not going to be the time to where you're competing for a pennant or a World Series. Why? This is the time to develop these players, man. Like, am I crazy?
No. I mean, you are in some aspect,
you're right.
but
Okay,
not,
that's a
not
dumb
when it comes
question.
to this.
In this scenario, no, you're right.
Okay.
But overall,
yeah,
as a whole, Jamie.
Thank you.
Yeah, crazy as hell.
Yes, I've heard that.
Do you think the clubhouse has some let's just say what Katie is saying is what happens, right? And Victor Scott went from not being on the opening day roster to now he is on the opening day roster. Do you think some of the players in that clubhouse have any effect on whether or not that happens? Because they're looking at a guy and they're like, we need this guy on our team.
No.
Like, we want to win.
They're not.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I mean, look, that does happen when you have a team that can compete. When you have a team that can compete, then the veteran players will step up and be like, hey, we need this young guy brings us to another
right.
Is it Arenado, though? Like, he still wants to win.
Yeah, but you're not competing. Like, even if Victor Scott plays fantastic, you're not doing anything.
But try telling those guys that. They think they can win.
Who does?
The team.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Yes, they do. We might not think they can, but they believe that they can win.
Okay, so you got Arenado, who's not going to do that, by the way. He's just not going to tell Mo that. Who else? Contreras? Okay.
Maybe some of the pitchers.
Great. And Mo's going to say, okay, I appreciate your input, man. Thank you.
It's going to be interesting
and
to
then
see.
Just do whatever the hell he wants anyway.
That's fair.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out because I do think, again, as a player, from a player perspective, and I can only say this because I've gone through it. Like I when I was in training camp with the Indianapolis Colts, there is not a doubt in my mind or anyone else's mind that I made that team. I was an undrafted rookie. I remember we were playing the third preseason game was the game where the starters play the majority of the game. You play until the third quarter, and I remember our running back coach put me in the game with the starters, and the O-line coach was cussing, why are you putting this up? He said he knows what he's doing. He's earned the right, and I had done and I did. I earned everything that I got, and then they put me on practice squad, and I was deflated. And then they end up activating me before the first game, and I was elated. And then they end up cutting me after the first game, and I was deflated again. You see where I'm going with this? As a player, when you earn your right, when you do everything right, and then someone tells you, you know what, bud, you did everything right, it's just a numbers game.
Oh, that's the worst.
What the hell are we talking about?
That's just
Who's been better than me?
Yeah.
No one. No one has been better than me. So why in the hell is it a numbers game for me and not their ass? And so at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do about it. but it's not. It doesn't make it right. It's wrong, and it's unfortunate.
It's
if
just
Victor
like
Scott is
anything in
not
life.
on the roster.
Just like people who get promotions who don't deserve
Yeah.
them. They get promotions because they've been there longer than you. You're better at the job, whatever it is.
It's politics, right?
It is.
There's
a
politics
certain amount of
in
politics
sports.
No question.
involved in
It's at the
everything.
youth level, too.
The contract plays, options. You got options. You're going to send you down. I don't have options on this player. I'm going to keep him up. Like, all of that crap comes into play, but you just hope that at some point you field the best team or you ice the best team possible so that your fans can get rewarded with the best players.
And we'll get into this later, but I think that goes into the conversation of potential versus production and how much you value one or the other. So we'll get into that later.
Yeah, we will. All right, it's the Fast Lane here at 101 ESPN. We are at Cyberg's, having a great time with everybody. I think 7 different people have offered us beers already. Too bad we're working, Carey. Too bad we're working. But one thing I wanted to ask you guys is, with the way the Blues are playing right now, with this playoff push, has it completely changed the way we're thinking of this team moving forward? We'll get into that next, right here on 101 ESPN.
It's a lot of guys, right? Jake Neighbors hasn't been in this kind of stretch run. Bull Duke. And then you have Tucker, right? And we're starting to see these guys. The experience they're getting down this stretch run is only going to help us next year and for years to come. And that's why we're very thankful that our team has been able to play so well to get into types of games like this. This is going to help us not only this year, but for years.
All right, that was Blues head coach Jim Montgomery talking about his young players and the importance of playing meaningful games, Carey, which we know we love meaningful games. So, guys, I guess the question ultimately is this whole playoff push this year and the way the Blues are playing currently, which they're playing as good, if not better, than any team in the NHL right now. They're officially on a heater, okay? Has this changed the way Army and the Blues are going to act moving forward with this retool/rebuild?
I don't think so. I think it's right on target and right on pace to where they want it to be. You got guys, and we've talked about Dvorsky, we've talked about Snuggerud, those guys coming up eventually, whether it's the end of this year for one or end of next year, beginning of next year for both. And it just it becomes a transition. A couple of guys go out that aren't to the level, and that doesn't mean they're not good hockey players. They're not, good hockey players for this team. It just means you got some youth coming in, and you give those guys the opportunity, Cardinals. And so you just allow that youth, the talented players, to come up and take that spot of the older players, Cardinals. And so that's what you do, right? That's how it works. I think they're on track to do exactly what they are doing or what they're supposed to be doing. I don't think there's any strategic shift in game plan or philosophy. I love what they're doing. And, again, you're probably ahead of schedule because of Broberg and Holloway and what Zach Bolduc has been able to do. You saw Jake Neighbors last year, but you're seeing some of these younger guys providing the things that they're providing, and it's been really exciting.
I definitely think it's sped up their winning timeline, like that winning window. I think we talked about it the other day. You have that playoff window, and then all of a sudden you jump into that Stanley Cup window. I think their playoff window leading into that Stanley Cup window has sped up because of the stretch that they're on right now. These younger players, maybe they don't understand what a winning mindset or what it looks like to win consistently if they don't have this stretch of games. If they don't have this, then maybe they head into next season and they're still, trying to win 3 games in a row and they're just kind of mediocre. And, you see some of the players take steps, but ultimately they don't necessarily know how to win in the right ways. I think this stretch of games has sped that timeline up. I look at a team like the Detroit Red Wings. They have a lot of talent, do they not? They've had talent, but they have not learned how to win.
Nope, you're right.
And now they find themselves once again outside of the playoffs. They're 4 points out of a playoff spot. And I hope that this Blues team doesn't become what they are, but I don't think they will because of what they're going through right now. And even if the Blues don't make it in the playoffs, if they lose by 1 point or 2 points or whatever it is, these games have been so critical for those young players, especially last night. Jim Montgomery said this is a playoff game, and all these young players experience what that is. So not only does it help for the future, but hell, it could help this season if they make it.
Yeah, I agree. So here's where I am with it. I think there's been a certain chain of events that have changed the course of this team a little bit. And the chain of events are pretty simple. It's the offer sheets to Broberg and Holloway. Carey, you touched on that, okay? If you didn't have those two players, would you be playing these meaningful games right now? Tough to say.
I don't think so.
I don't think you are because of how much they've contributed to your lineup and how much Holloway has been on the score sheet. But either way, you're at where you're at now because of those two guys. And then Bolduc, look at the emergence of him under Jim Montgomery, mind you, because nothing against Drew Bannister. I thought Drew worked really hard for this team, but he was just not willing to give Bolduc the tough minutes.
Yeah.
And I think that he was unwilling to do it is because he didn't have the experience as a head coach to look Army in the eye and say, no, I'm playing him. Jim Montgomery has that clout to say, yeah, I'm playing the young kid. Yeah, he's going to make mistakes, but this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right. And so the development of Bolduc has really spiked. Jake Neighbors continues to play well. His play has gone from, that net front presence last year. He was the beneficiary of some nice little rebound goals. But this year he's playing top line with Robert Thomas and Pavel Buchnevich, which means he has to think the game differently too, not just go to the front of the net. So those things all together, Tyler Tucker recapturing his spot on the blue line.
Yeah.
Joel Hofer playing as well as he is. All of these things have contributed to where I think the Blues are ahead of schedule. Now, when you add in Dvorsky, Snuggerud, those two players in particular, because those are the ones we talk about all the time. Now your core of young players exceeds your core of older players.
Right.
That's when the turnaround happens. And I talked about it yesterday when Ken Hitchcock came in and took over, and the Schwartz, Shen, Oshie, Berglund, Steen, Pietrangelo, the young players that you had became your nucleus, but they were ready for the next steps. That's when you went on your 10-year heater of being a competitive team that probably should have had more success in the playoffs, but you didn't for whatever reason.
Yeah. So we've been kind of loosely comparing this team to the 2019 team because it's most recent. Do you think this team sort of mimics the early Ken Hitchcock days?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Okay.
That's exactly it. When these guys started to figure their crap out, when Oshie decided to play a 200-foot game, when Berglund turned into a great two-way center, David Backes was part of it, Alex Pietrangelo became the man. This is that group. Now, they're not quite to that spot, but they're a year, maybe a year or two.
Yeah.
You're really waiting on Dvorsky and Snuggerud. And if those guys are prominent figures on your team, that's when you've hit that window. That's when you can say that this team mimics that team that Ken Hitchcock had.
I also would we have the younger players that we're talking about, they're forwards. I don't know how you feel about it, but I don't mind having a younger forward group and an older veteran, more dependable back end. And that's what the Blues have right now, because you can sometimes make those mistakes as a forward, but if you have dependable guys on the blue line, you can kind of get away with that.
So the toughest position to become a number one player in is goalie. It is on the ice. It just is, because you're the last line of defense. If you make a mistake, it's in the back of the net. That's the bottom line. And the second hardest position is defense, because you have to not only be physically able to do things, you have to be mentally capable of processing everything that's either going good in front of you or things that are breaking down, and then you have to adjust. So I guess I would loosely compare it to maybe a free safety, where the free safety kind of helps out where he needs to help out. He better know how to read it properly, because if he leaves the one side of the field where he's supposed to be at and it's the wrong play, it's a touchdown.
Number 6.
So it's a loose comparison, trust me. But I'm just saying the defensemen take longer to get to that spot of comfort. And now the Blues have the most experienced blue line in all of the NHL.
Yeah.
Will they have that 2 years from now? Probably not, but they still have some of those pieces. I'm hoping they still have Cam Fowler in 2 years. I know they'll have Colton Parayko. Who knows where Leddy and Justin Falk will be, if they decide to keep one of those guys or not. You will have Broberg, who's now going to be a seasoned veteran, Tucker, Kessel,
his game
Lindstein. It's crazy, right? So, yes, I think that your idea of younger forwards that are buzzing around out there, still responsible, though.
For sure.
Zach Bolduc, everybody thought, this guy's a liability. He can't play 200 foot. He's second on the team in plus-minus, number one rookie in plus-minus.
Yeah.
I mean, some people, that's a skewed stat. Okay, fine. So he's plus 15 or plus 16 right now. Let's say he's plus 10 because it's a skewed stat, right? That's still a good
playing winning hockey.
It's a great sign for a young player to be playing that.
I just really haven't seen any defensive miscues from him. The only thing I can think of is he'll get a puck on the wall and try and go up the middle with it, and maybe the pass is behind and the puck stays in the zone for an extended period of time. But there's no
that's
glaring.
Gonna happen, man.
Right. And it happens to veterans too. But there's no glaring issues where I'm oh my gosh, get this guy off the ice. That's just not. It's just not the case.
And how about the physicality that he's added?
He has played. Well, I feel like each line has an identity, and I feel like he has played into that third line's identity, which is speed on the wings, but solid, good positioning defensively, while also with a heavy forecheck.
Yeah, and he's got such strong legs that he's learning how to hit.
Yeah.
And he's rocking guys out there right now. So the future looks bright for the Blues. They just have to stay on this path, the trajectory that they're on right now. I think the front office is doing the right thing. I think they're in good hands with Jim Montgomery, Steve Ott, Mike Weber behind the bench. David Alexander for the goalie coach, who is by far the best in the business, in my opinion. But things are looking good for your Blues. Cardinals, take that. All right, coming up next here, we are going to talk a little bit about the Cardinals. Should we trust the Cardinals veterans who decided to stay? We'll find out next here on 101 ESPN. It's a Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh. We are located at Cyberg's today. We're doing a live remote show here from Cyberg's. We'll be here until 6 o'clock. Come on by. Food is awesome. All the TVs, 100 different TVs in here. They've all got basketball on them, different games, and people are having a great time. So please come on by here. It's our tournament tip-off, and that's brought to you by Bud Light. All right, Marshy. Talk to me. You had something to do with the Cardinals here. We've got audio you want to play. Marshy's got a vision. He had a vision.
Marshy had a vision.
He got a vision.
No audio. Just a quote, though, from Wilson Contreras from Derek Gould's 2025 Cardinals preview. This is the quote. People always want the team to invest and get the best player they can for the most money, which is fine. But we also have a lot of talent in this group. That's what I'm betting on. We decided to stay and compete, and we're not giving up. A lot of confidence coming from that clubhouse right there.
So that was Contreras?
Wilson Contreras.
Yeah, call me when somebody else says something like that, because Wilson Contreras, to me, is the guy that he does want to win. He's fiery. He's competitive. He doesn't care where you play him. He doesn't complain. Catcher, fine. First base, fine. Outfield, don't really want that, but whatever. Wilson Contreras has been the spark plug for this team from a veteran standpoint. Call me when somebody else, not named Contreras, talks that way. I want to hear Arenado talk that way. I want to hear Miles Michaelis talk that way. Somebody else with like senior status on that team needs to be talking that way. Am I wrong?
No. Jamie, I've said this before, and I don't know if you were there when I said it, and I'm sure, I am certain you will agree. I played on bad teams, right? In the offseason, you know what we said when we broke down the huddle? Champs on 3. 1, 2, 3 champs. We thought. Like, mentally, we were like, we can win the championship.
You're trying to brainwash yourself.
Yeah, we because you all have rose-colored glasses on in the offseason.
What team was this for?
This is Illinois.
Champs or chumps?
Yeah,
wow.
See? I told you.
You're lucky I'm in between.
I told you. What did I tell you first segment? I told you.
I know, but if your arms were long, you'd be in trouble. I'll tell you that much.
I told you. Thanks, Bradford. Exactly. No, that's what you say. I would bet money. I would bet good money that the Chicago White Sox, when they were in their off-season spring training last year, they had thoughts of playing in October. Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I think so.
I don't know.
You had
really bad
you had
team.
pitchers, Garrett Crochet, Eric Fetty. You had guys.
Fetty Watt.
Right? You had guys. They thought. And then it went bad. So it's not abnormal. And I don't know that the Cardinals are going to be. I don't know what they're going to be. But I know the mindset is you think you can win all the time. And you should.
But don't you think that the players that the Cardinals could have traded, Sonny Gray, Wilson Contreras, they stayed. Does that mean anything? Like, do you think that they're seeing something that we're not in these young players?
Well, it's possible, right? And look, we said this last year. I said if you this exact team, if you run it back next year, they're probably about the same. Minus Paul Goldschmidt, minus the guys we talked about, they're probably about the same team, which means they're better than we thought. And if you get guys like Victor Scott that takes steps forward, you get Jordan Walker that outplays what he did last year, which shouldn't be that hard for him. Mason Wood has another season just like he had. Brendan Donovan has a good season. Lars Nootbaar has a good season, and he's healthy.
Yeah.
If you have all of these things, then it's not impossible to think that the Cardinals have a better season than they did last year. It's not impossible to think that they're better than what we think.
Right.
Agreed.
But that's a lot of things that have to happen,
Right.
and I think that's why we get skeptical, is because it's daunting to think, well, we got to have that many guys play good or equal or better. Like, whoa, we're really hoping for a lot here.
I mean, you could say the same thing about the Blues, though, right? Like 2 months ago, we were like, this team stinks.
No, we weren't.
Well,
I never said that.
Carey, you were never on the roller coaster.
Well, I wasn't. I just kind of like whatever.
I would never say
not whatever,
that
but I was just.
They were not a good team.
Yeah, they weren't fun to watch.
They were not fun to watch.
They're fun to watch
better
now.
They're very fun to watch now.
Yeah,
But all it
weird
took,
how that works.
right? All it took was 2 weeks to turn things around.
A 2 week period of not doing anything.
They went to a darkness. Yeah. I'm convinced. I'm going to ask Monty about that tonight.
Okay.
Like, so you knew that there was something there. Like, you know what that player or players could bring to the table is whether or not they're going to put it all together and do it at the right time. I think there is a lot of potential with this team. The big question is, can they put it together at the same time? So maybe it does take a little bit, but I do have confidence that these players will be something. Now, will they be something with the Cardinals? Will the Cardinals trade them away and they'll be something with somebody else? Like that is another that's a whole different other question that will be answered at some point. But I think what they have now is a good base. They have a good base, but now you just have to find the right ingredients to make it taste good.
What you need is what you're talking about is true, Marshy. The foundation, the base, whatever you want to call it, okay? But you need one of these young guys to become a star. You need it.
Yeah.
Like you need Jordan Walker or Mason Wynn or both, but you need Michael McGreevy. You need Quinn Matthews. Like you need a star to emerge from this group.
An impact player. You said that the other day. Yeah. That the Blues have more impact players than the Cardinals do. I completely agree.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it yet from the Cardinals. That doesn't mean that they don't have one.
You know why you see it from the Blues? Because they get to play. Cardinals? What the hell are we doing, man?
Well, the season doesn't start until Thursday, Carey. They haven't played
You all
yet.
let me know how that goes.
And you know what? And look at this again. This isn't a Cardinals versus Blues thing.
While you're sipping your
yeah. No, have a
Carey, he won't answer a damn text.
I
Watch.
won't. No.
This is not a Cardinals versus Blues thing here, but when players are blocking players on the Cardinals roster, they wait till the season's over and then they maybe move on. Doug Armstrong had Brandon Saad that was essentially blocking Zach Bolden.
Yeah. Yep. I forgot he was even on the team at
one point. And that trade probably – when did that trade happen?
Well, he waived him. Let's see here. I think it had to have been after December.
Was it that late? Or was it January? It was January?
Yeah, January. I think it was somewhere in there. I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah.
But my point is that Zach Bolden wasn't getting those reps.
Yeah.
And now when Brandon Saad was waived and then signed with Vegas and whatnot, and all the best to him and his family, of course. But now Zach Bolduc had a chance to play. So Army made a decision to move pieces out of the way to give players a chance.
Right.
The Cardinals haven't done that.
Yeah.
In fact, they keep hanging on. In fact, last year they brought in old guys to clog up.
To keep staying in the way.
Yeah, and I understand the strategy at the time, but when it didn't work, you needed to DFA both Carpenter and Crawford. Goodbye.
Yeah.
You've had a great career. You can either retire right here or we're going to DFA you. However you want to go out is up to you.
And it's not personal.
It's not personal.
It's just business.
But we need at-bats for Nolan Gorman off the bench instead of Matt Carpenter.
Right.
We need at-bats for, what's his name? Lucan Baker. Baker.
Why'd you do that? Is his head big?
No, he was a bigger guy.
Oh.
Not big head. He has a big head, I bet.
Yeah.
But you needed at-bats for Lucan Baker because he's buried in the minors, and all he does is shred baseballs. But no, Brandon Crawford's in the way. You needed to make room at that point, and the Cardinals didn't. So we'll see if Chaim Bloom has a different approach to this. This spring training and how they come out of spring training and how they set things up will certainly tell a story for us because there are certain guys who shouldn't be on the roster, who shouldn't be in the rotation, or even in the bullpen for that matter. And if they're still there and they're still in the way, then you'll see that the strategy really hasn't changed for the Cardinals. So time will tell. All right, that's Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers here. We got Bradford Bruns working the dials back in the studio. We're going to get into Bet the Board here next. I'm convinced, guys, that Connor McDavid hates me.
Well, he's injured now.
Yeah. He's injured, but I think he hates me.
He probably likes you, Jamie.
I don't know. Talk to me one time. He had some good stuff from him. But now, the power play points just gone. Now he's hurt. Now he's bailing on me.
Well, we all did terrible yesterday, so.
I know, but
Steph Curry got hurt, too.
You think Connor McDavid. You think, right, Marshy?
Well, you would think.
You think. Well, anyways, we'll get into Bet the Board coming up next year on 101 ESPN.
Refreshed by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
It's a fast lane here, 101 ESPN. We are broadcasting from Cybergs on Dorset Road. It's an awesome time here. Come on by, have some fun. Gentlemen, we all suck at this betting thing.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good. Last night was a terrible night for us, Marshy. Tell us how terrible it was.
Let's see. We'll just go across the line.
Yeah, sure.
Mizzou Drake, that is Anthony's pick, or was Anthony's pick. Over 132.5. That did not hit.
Nope.
Connor McDavid, power play point, over, did not hit.
Nope.
Steph Curry, over 35.5 points, rebounds, assists.
Nope.
That did not happen.
Nope.
And Jordan Bennington, over 21.5 saves. Well, the Canucks didn't even get 21 shots, so that didn't happen.
Oh, man, that's just a stinker.
This is tough, man.
All right, so who's in the lead still? Is it Anthony?
So Anthony is still in the lead. He has 8 points, if I'm not mistaken. If this thing
Yeah, it's like
will
8,
load.
7, 6, 4, isn't it?
I got 5.
To 7
No,
to
you
6 to 5.
Oh, you got 5? You're
So
way better
Anthony
than I
is
thought.
first.
Yeah, thanks.
I think Anthony's feeling maybe an upset tonight.
Oh.
What do you think, guys?
Yeah, he likes to risk it, so yes.
I think, let me look at what he sent us. I believe, maybe not an upset, but for a team to cover, the Bryant Bulldogs, plus 17.5 at minus 118.
It's a good pick.
It's a great pick.
Feels like a large point spread, though.
Well, you never know. We have
Anthony's-
seen Michigan State lose before as a 2 seed. Could happen again, right?
Yeah, highly doubtful, but yeah, you never know.
You
Good
never
pick,
know.
Anthony.
You never know.
All right, Marcia, your turn.
Okay, so I am looking at this weekend, of course, because it is Friday, and I really think Gonzaga play last night. I think Gonzaga is not seated correctly. Would you say that, Carey?
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, they did have a really good game against Louisville. And
I'm going to
what you got?
take Gonzaga plus 5.5 at minus 112.
Ooh, interesting.
Sassy. All right,
I thought you said I'm thinking Creighton, not Gonzaga.
Well, Creighton
Creighton
also.
beat,
Yeah.
Creighton won.
You done, Carey?
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's
Nah,
fine.
apologies.
I want to make sure that I'm listening
No,
to
you go ahead, sir.
properly.
Yeah.
You know? I'm trying to pull my prop bets up here, but it's not giving me the right props. It's just giving me goals scored.
Well, I will. Do you mind if I go?
Yeah, go ahead, because we're not going to pick the same thing. So.
Nah. Give me the. I'm struggling. This has been tough on me. Give me the Houston Rockets minus 4.5. I don't know what I'm doing anymore, Marshy. I'm a battered, beat up man at this point.
Okay.
At the board. What are you looking for?
I've got Austin
0.5.
Matthews. Power play point. It's a
Nah.
0.5. I'll take the over on that one. It's the Leafs versus the Preds.
We got to start checking Jamie's bets.
You can check them all you want there.
I have
fella.
used that said website before to use my power play point that ultimately did not hit, and I can concur that those odds are plus odds,
Yes,
All right.
which you would think that they wouldn't be based on the players and the amount of times they get a point on the power play. But
I'm hearing a lot of complaining.
I don't think that's complaining.
A little bit. That's like a complaint. It's a Trojan horse complaint.
Interesting.
Yeah. Terry, you're up.
All
Oh, no,
right.
you
no,
went.
he already
That's right.
went.
Yeah,
He already
okay.
went.
All right. I'm sorry, okay? Holy crap. It's Friday. Would you guys relax a little bit?
It is Friday.
We got a text from Marcia's burner. I'd probably be a professional athlete if it wasn't for politics. It's definitely not due to my terrible athletic ability. We were kind of talking about that earlier. Do you think there's too much politics in youth sports?
So the good programs, no matter what it is, they have the kids as their main focus. Okay, and there are some places that get guilty of the politics where certain kids get put on certain teams because dad knows somebody, mom's best friend, like whatever it is. And the only thing they're doing there is they're hurting the kid.
Yeah.
And I talk about my boys all the time when people talk about development and youth sports and whatnot. My boys, they started a little bit later, whatever. They were playing that the ADM program.
Okay.
They weren't even on the top team. They were like on the second team. The next year, they are able to make an A1 team, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a pretty good jump for them to do that. They had a pretty good season, and then there was a team in town, the highest level, that wanted me to coach. And so they offered me the coach job, and they said, well, you can bring your boys too. Don't worry about it. I said, nope. I said, that's not the way it's going to work. I said, the way it's going to work is my boys will drag me along. So when they are able to play at a certain level, then I'll coach that team.
Yeah. Right.
But they're going to make said team on their own, not because of who dad is or dad coaching or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so what happened was the next year, my boys made a Central States team.
Yep.
It was great. I ended up coaching that team for a couple of years, held them back for another year so they could really dominate that level. We ended up winning a national championship that year, and then the following year they went on to play AAA hockey. So is kid show you where he needs to play. Because if your kid touches the puck, football, or barely hits a baseball, like whatever it is you're doing, what are you doing? The kid's not, one, he's not developing. Two, he's not having fun, or she's not having fun.
Yeah.
Put them at a level where they get the most production. And once they do that, then you can move them to the next. They should always be challenged. You don't always want to be the best kid at your sport. You want to be a kid that's pushing and striving and being pushed by other kids that are good.
And also, don't live through your children.
No,
don't live
let it
your
go.
life vicariously
like
through
Elsa said, let it go.
Let it go. Yeah, please. Because you're also doing them a disservice because they may not have the same passion or drive that you have. They may not. I think for me, and I'm learning this now, my son is 12. For me, it's like he has to want to do this. My daughter was a really good softball player and ran track really well. But I'm like hard-nosed, old school. If you don't work, you don't eat. And I don't care. You my child, I love you, but you don't deserve it. You didn't work hard enough. And so you have to be willing to put in the work. Your child has to come to you and say, Mom, Dad, I want to go work out, or I want to do this, or I need to do this to get better. If your kid is on the couch playing video games and you're like, well, why aren't you working out? Because they don't want to.
Yeah.
That's not something that they're interested in doing.
That's a great point. And I did forget this little story talking about my boys. Obviously, Synergy Hockey is my company. We do lessons, team training, camps in the summer. So my kids, when they were younger, they're like, well, we want to make a better team, Dad. We want to play on a top team. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. I'm on the ice 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, all day long.
Yep.
So you guys can come to camp for free every single day that you want to. But here's the deal. I'm not waking you up to go in the morning because I had to get up like 6:15 in the morning, sometimes earlier depending on where we're at. I'm not waking you up. You set an alarm, and if you really want to go, you'll get up and you'll meet me in the kitchen and we'll go.
Right.
It wasn't long. They were waking me up.
Yeah.
Dad, is it time yet? Dad, is it time yet? I'm like, no, we got another 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. You're bothering me. Yeah. But my point is they're the ones that they started waking me up because they wanted to go to camp because they wanted to get better.
And that's what it has to be.
It is.
Like if it's not that, then you have to be, your child has to be self-motivated to want to do it. And are there instances? Yes, there are instances you'll run in that a kid is getting preferential treatment because of who they know or because their father or mother is part of the program, something like that. But generally speaking, me being a former coach, you, Jamie, coaching kids, I'm going to put the best players on the field.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the best players out there. If people think, well, you only play this guy, listen, you want this player to play because I want the best player to play. And I would tell parents this. If you think I'm selfish, then think that I'm selfish enough that I want every one of my kids to go to Alabama. I want every one of my kids to go to Oklahoma or Illinois or Mizzou or, Nebraska, where I want every one of them. So if you think I'm selfish, think I'm selfish enough to want to have the best players to go everywhere because that looks better on me.
Right.
If I'm that selfish.
Yeah.
I look damn good if every one of my
you give
kids
a
are getting
crap.
recruited. Exactly. So you do have to check out for that, but best advice, make sure you understand your child is not you and let them carve their own path.
Yes.
Real quick here, we get a text from the 636. Wanted to get your thoughts. Parents who always make sure their kid is on a winning team are doing a disservice. Kids have to know how to lose. You can't learn grace, and you can't learn to bounce back if you're always winning.
Well, that goes back to my original thought of you can't just be the best kid on the team every time, right? So now you can't just always be on the best team. Now, if your team is,
butt,
if they're just good,
right,
and you're beating the crap out of everybody across the nation, then you know what? There's something to be said for that too.
Yep.
Right.
To learn how to win and know how to win, bringing it every game, every weekend, every showcase, every tournament, all these things. There's value in that too. But it's inevitable that along the way you will stumble.
Yeah.
You will lose to a team at some point that you shouldn't have lost to. And that's where the coaches come in, and that's a good teaching point for coaches with players that are having a huge amount of success.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, it is time for the Gauntlet coming up next here in the Fast Lane. Again, we're at Cyberg's on Dorset Road. It's filling up here big time. Everybody's having a great time. So we're going to get into the Gauntlet next, right here on 101 ESPN.
broadcasting live from Cyberg's on Dorset for our tournament tip-off party.
Refreshed by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
4 warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
Welcome back here to the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. The time today, 4:04 p.m. Time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an official provider of Rolex jewelry. We have a live and in-person contestant today to match up against Carey Davis.
All right.
He's already made his choice.
Yeah.
Marshy, won't you introduce our guest?
Wow, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that I'm going to get to do the Gauntlet twice in 1 month.
Wow.
I got in your head the last time.
Oh!
It's Chester.
It's Chester.
So,
So,
for
those
now, yeah, in person.
Hang on, Carey. For those watching or listening right now, we told Carey, we introduced him as Steve.
Yeah, he said Steve.
He said Steve. And so Carey's nemesis, Chester, is here.
The
He
world
drove over
needs
here
heels.
on purpose.
Very well played, sir.
So, Carey, get the hell out of here.
I'm out of here. Good luck.
All right. Chester, what we need from you now is to tell our guy Bradford to spin that wheel.
Bradford, spin that wheel, please.
What are you hoping for?
Not hockey.
Not hockey, okay. All right, then. We don't have not hockey on the wheel.
I don't think so.
No.
I take random.
Okay, all right. All right, Bradford, let us know when you got a winner for us.
Well, Chester, our apologies because this wheel is as consistent as the hometown hockey team. It is that hockey again.
Oh, dang, Chester. Okay. You know, Carey is our hockey guy, so you could be in trouble here today.
Well, I beat him the last time. I've got a point up on him, just like the Blues on the Canucks.
Oh, nice.
I like
that.
it.
I like that very much. All right, so the rules are as follows, as you know. 2 points for answering a question correctly without the options. 1 point if you answer correctly with the options. If you're tied after 4 questions, just like yesterday, we will have a tiebreaker and we will get a winner today in the Gauntlet. Chester, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, bud, here we go. The category is hockey. Question number 1. Philip Broberg wears number 6 for the Blues. But which number did he wear in Edmonton?
Options.
Options are 86, 36, or 16.
16, final answer.
Okay.
Question number 2. Philip Broberg has scored 2 goals in a game once this season. It came on the road at the end of February against which team?
Options.
Options are the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Washington Capitals, or the Los Angeles Kings.
Kings, final answer.
All right, question 3. Dylan Holloway has 56 points on the season for the Blues. How many Oilers have more points than Holloway this season?
Three, final answer.
Question number 4. Dylan Holloway has 6 game-winning goals this season for the Blues. One of the 6 was an overtime winner. Which team did Dylan Holloway score on in overtime this season?
Options.
Options are the New York Islanders, the Vancouver Canucks, or the Calgary Flames.
Canucks, final answer.
All right. We'll get our guy Carey Davis. That's our guy Doty has the loudest voice in the building. He just yelled and people next door just crapped themselves.
People at Waffle House.
Yeah, Waffle House
could
need
hear
to
it.
stop dead in their tracks right now. All right, Carey Davis making his way back up here. Carey, got your headphones back on? Carey, how was the cone of non-silence?
Oh, it's very non-silent.
Yeah.
Talking to my guy Corey, who grew up in Charleston, Illinois, Illinois fan, and lived in Tampa and St. Pete area. Birthday is a couple of days after mine.
You guys are practically brothers.
Hey, might as well be.
I went to several of your college games, by the way. I went to Penn State. So.
Okay, all right. Good.
There you go.
Here, I don't know how I feel about that now.
Yeah. All right, Carey, your category today is Let's Do That Hockey. You better pack a lunch, my friend.
Gotta love hockey. How the hell do we do? All right.
I'm the hockey guy, man.
I know.
I thought you'd be thrilled.
Yeah, I am.
All right, we'll find out.
Okay.
Question 1. Philip Broberg wears number 6 for the Blues. But which number did he wear in Edmonton?
Oh, man. Yeah, I have no clue. Like none. Give me the options.
Was it 86, 36, or 16?
I think it's 86. Let's go 16, final answer.
Question number 2. Philip Broberg has scored 2 goals in a game once this season. It came on the road at the end of February against which team?
Options.
Options are the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Washington Capitals, or the LA Kings.
End of February on the road. Let's go. Capitals, final answer.
Question 3. Dylan Holloway has 56 points on the season for the Blues. How many Oilers have more points than Holloway this season?
There's 2, 3. Ooh. I would say, I'm thinking 3, but there's probably one more, which would make that 4, Jamie.
That's usually how it works?
The options are going to be like 3, 4, 5. I go 4, final answer.
Question number 4. Dylan Holloway has 6 game-winning goals this season for the Blues. One of the 6 was an overtime winner. Which team did Dylan Holloway score on in overtime this season?
Oh, man, I wish I could remember things like that. That is awful. Options.
Options are the New York Islanders, the Vancouver Canucks, or the Calgary Flames.
Let's go Flames, final answer.
All righty, let's go over this. Question number 1. Philip Broberg wears number 6 for the Blues, but which number did he wear in Edmonton? Our guy Chester said 16.
Yeah.
Our guy Carey Davis also said 16. Answer is?
Well, those young players tend to have high numbers, gentlemen. It is 86.
86. 0-0.
So much for proximity.
Question 3 is where we're going to go next. Dylan Holloway has 56 points on the season for the Blues. How many current Oilers have more points than Dylan Holloway this season? Chester, without the options, said 3. Carey, without the options, said 4. Marshy, answer is?
Well, of course, it's Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. It's 2.
Only 2. How do you feel about that, Stan Bowman?
Oh, man.
Not today. All right, let's go to question 4. Holloway has 6 game-winning goals this season for the Blues. One of the 6 was an overtime winner. Which team did Dylan Holloway score on in overtime this season? Chester took the options. He said the Vancouver Canucks. Carey, you also took the options. You said the Calgary Flames. Answer is?
Well, the Blues just beat them. It's the Vancouver Canucks.
Chester up 1-0 as we head into the final question. Philip Broberg has scored 2 goals in a game once this season. It came on the road at the end of February against which team? Chester took the option, said the LA Kings. Carey took the options, said the Washington Capitals. Marshy, answer is?
It's the Washington Capitals.
Walk it off.
We got to walk off. All right, so Chester, you know how this works, right? And now what we can actually do is we can actually give Chester a piece of paper too.
Yeah, that'll work.
So that he can write his answer down. Don't show each other your answers. I got a pen for him here. All right, and this one here will be closest to the pin. All right, gentlemen? Here we go. Through 70 games, how many points do Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg have combined on the season? Okay. We're both whittling away here. Carey, you have your answer?
Yep.
Okay, hide it. You got yours? No, don't want to see it. We're going to keep the dramatics here, okay, a little bit. Okay, so the answer, by the way, is 78. Carey, your answer, please.
69.
69. Chester, 80.
Oh!
Chester.
You have chosen wisely.
Oh, he gets him again. Carey.
Stalter on Monday is going to lose.
Oh, my.
Carey, you mailed it in.
You did. He did.
I actually did math.
You came up with that?
Well,
yeah.
Holloway has 56. And I knew he at least had 24, or I thought he had at least 24.
So I wrote 56,
Yep.
and I don't know how I got 13 for Broberg.
I don't know either.
Now, I want you to know, my son was mad at me. I beat you.
Was he? You're raising him right.
He wanted me to beat the heating and cooling guy.
Oh, the Saliga guy.
Yes.
Well, if you beat him, you're a terrible person, so you get a
Well,
chance
we're not
on
sure
Monday.
yet. The jury's still out.
As I said, if he beats him, he's a terrible person.
On Monday, we're going to find out
There
I'm
you
a
go.
horrible person.
Okay, looks like I'm next.
All right, Chester, thank you for
Thanks.
coming
Good
down
job,
here.
brother.
Congrats, my man.
I'm 0 for 2. I'm not ever going to hear the end of it. You every day in the snake pit, I hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll hear it.
Yep.
It's okay.
All right, well, Chester will be back Monday, apparently to take on Marshy.
I'll be out next
and
week. Thank
Carey
God.
will be somewhere in Hawaii at that time. So, anyways, well done, gentlemen. Nice to have you guys a part of it all here.
Good job, brother.
Great to see you. And we let's see here. Coming up next in the Fast Lane, we're going to talk about potential versus production right here on 101 ESPN.
Man.
for a spring training report on 101 ESPN. Our Redbird Spring Training Report is brought to you by Rawlings. Visit the all-new Rawlings experience at Westport Plaza today.
Welcome back here to the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We are here at Cyberg's Tournament Tip-Off, brought to you by Bud Light. All right, so we talked a little bit about potential earlier today, and Marshy, you brought up a very good point, and that's why we're going to talk about here. It's potential versus production. So why don't you walk me through your thought process here?
Well, I think a lot of people right now are concerned, have question marks surrounding Nolan Gorman, and just honestly the whole Cardinals roster in general. And so we're looking at Victor Scott, who's having a really great spring right now down in Jupiter. So that begs the question, at least for me, what do you guys value more? You know, you two are coaches, right?
Yeah.
Spring, it's not from a guy who is expected to be an everyday guy, or maybe he is. Like, when you're weighing both, like, what are you taking into consideration when you look at both of these? And at the end of the day, which one are you going with?
So how old's the player?
Let's just say he's a young player.
He's a young player, okay. I value production. Because to me, if a player is producing, he's reaching potential. Is he reaching maximum potential? I don't know, to be determined, right? But if I have a player, if I'm staring in the locker room and I've got two players, one of them, the ceiling is unreal. Like, this guy could be an all-star.
Yep.
But you're always, every year, you're like, oh, he could be an all-star. He's got the potential. He could be awesome. At some point, the player that you think he's going to be is not there. The player that he is currently is actually who the player is. And if you give me the other player that is giving me production, the ceiling may not be as high, but he's currently giving me more than the potential player could give me. Give me the production, man. We're in the business of winning football, baseball, hockey games, whatever it is. I'm not in the business of dreaming.
For me, that would be that. What you're describing is Nolan Gorman and Brendan Donovan. Like, the potential for Gorman is through the roof.
Right.
The production for Donovan is what the hell is going to help us win.
Right.
Like, I can't live off of the potential. For me, in sports, potential is one of the most dangerous words in the world because it means you haven't done it yet. The potential is that this guy can be really good if all these things, if he stays healthy, if he hits the ball, if he takes the shot, but that means he hasn't done it yet.
Correct.
So for me, potential is a scary word because I just haven't seen enough of it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called potential anymore. It'd be
production.
It'd be production. You would know what you're getting.
Yeah.
So for me, I agree with you, Jamie. I want the guy that produces more so than the guy that has the potential to produce because he hasn't done it yet.
Marciette, where do you lean on this one?
I think when you get into this conversation, it's a little weird because, you know, if you want to invest in a guy that has potential, you know, you need to make sure that that person hits on it. Otherwise, you're just wasting time, right? You're wasting the organization's time, and you're wasting the fans' time because right now there are certain players in the Cardinals organization that we have been told have a high ceiling. They have a ton of potential, but we haven't seen it yet.
Right.
And so now as fans, we're like, when the hell is this guy going to play and play at an elite level?
Mm-hmm.
And people's patience, whereas you're seeing why you would give a certain player runway, but you have to have a point where you cut him off because you can't keep wasting time.
Here's a question from the 314. When does potential go away? And I think that's a great question because it's normally 3 to 4 years. Like, I think if Nolan Gorman plays every single day this year and does not perform well, you're probably looking at him and saying, okay, this is who he is. The same thing with Dylan Carlson. You saw enough and you were like, okay, this is who he is. Jordan Walker this year and probably next year. If it doesn't go well, you'll probably say this is enough. For me, I equate it to football, and I would tell. So when I was in Pittsburgh, they would ask me to talk to the rookie class, the guys that were coming in, and I would tell them, now you're a first-round pick, you probably got 3 to 4 years to figure it out. Second-round pick, you probably got 1 to 2 years. Mm-hmm. Third through seventh and undrafted free agents, you got 1. If you're undrafted, you got about 3 months to show that you're worth being here. So your value, your potential, and your time to be able to show what you're capable of, it gets less and less the further away you are from that first-round draft pick. So I think that, when guys are highly touted, their potential, you give them a little bit longer rope than a guy that is, third, fourth, fifth-round pick later on in the draft and undrafted guys in football. That's essentially what it is. The higher they value you, the more rope and the more potential they'll wait on versus someone that is not highly drafted.
So there's a saying, and it's nothing, this isn't going to be brand new, you've heard it before, I guarantee it, but at some point you go from prospect to suspect. And that's what happens when you have a team that holds on to the potential for too long, then you end up with a commodity that's not worth anything.
Right.
Because if a player has a ton of potential and you can see that he's not realizing the potential, or maybe it's not going to happen, you can move on from that player, maybe even get something for him because another team might be a believer too.
Right.
But if you hang on too long and then that player's not what you thought he was, and then all of a sudden the leverage is gone and nobody wants said player, that's a bad spot to be in. We get a text from the text line here from the 636. They say Cairo is a good example of potential to production. I would agree with that, okay? Yeah. So let's just run through this for a second because not everybody, a lot of Blues fans wanted to roast Cairo nonstop, right?
Yep.
Let's go over this. His first full season in the NHL, guys, 74 games. His first full season, 75 points.
Not bad.
Not bad. Year. So you're looking at it, holy crap, the potential on this kid. The next year, 79 games, 73 points, minus 38. That's when everybody started with. Okay, fine, I'll call it out. To it. But the potential was still very evident in this player.
Yeah.
Fast forward to where you're at now, he's got 59 points in 70 games, plus 16, and he's one of your most reliable forwards on the ice night in and night out. So that's a great example of Army seeing the potential and then Cairo realizing the production. If we had another season of minus 12, minus 20, you would have to look, if you're Doug Armstrong, and say, okay, is now the time? Because the potential no longer outweighs what the problem is.
Right.
But it didn't happen because Jordan Cairo found his game, rounded his game out, however you want to word it. But that is the risk. That is the roulette of young players, is you don't necessarily always know when to cut it loose, and you don't know when it's going to hit.
Yeah.
I think with hockey, hockey just lends itself, though, for you to have a little bit more time, because if Cairo, continued to be the player he is, you could move him down in the lineup, right? You have 12 forward spots, whereas in baseball it's a little different because you already have a Brendan Donovan. We're talking about Nolan Gorman, right? That's the pig doing the woo. He's wooing.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what the hell.
That's the pig from the commercial.
I'm so confused.
He's weeing. That's what it is. Little pig weed all the way home.
Was somebody in here.
I thought someone was stabbing a pig.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on.
In Cybers, and I'm glad that's not happening.
Glad Marshy knew what was going on because I clearly didn't.
Yeah.
Thanks, Marsh.
Anyways,
okay.
With Nolan Gorman at his position, in my opinion, that's better than him.
Nolan Arenado.
Or
which position are we talking about?
At second base, Brendan Donovan.
Correct.
Nolan Arenado at third base.
Correct.
Right? So, where are you going to play this guy?
Oh, you're going to force him in the game.
You force him into second base.
Yep.
Because you have, but that ruins the rest of your roster. That's why there's so many questions right now. Because now you're hoping, that this potential that he has, the production catches up to the potential.
Yeah.
But at what point?
Well, go ahead, Jerry.
I was just going to say, all of this, guys, circles back to your ability to scout your own team.
Yeah.
Your ability to identify talent in real time, not what talent can be in a year or 2 or 3 from now. And now it's fine when the player first comes in the league. You can project the next 2 or 3 years where you think this player should be with this development. That is perfect. But once the player has been in the league and now you're trying to project out 3 more years again, don't do that. Because what that player is currently in front of you is probably what he's going to be. Where the Cardinals have screwed up is they have bailed too quickly. They got the happy feet a little bit, and we're like, we're gonna move on from this player. Or we need to go acquire this, and you know, and then we see the all-stars that have left the organization, and now it's almost like they've overcorrected in some ways. Where now they're just hanging on and hanging on and hanging on to certain players because they don't want to have it blow up in their face again.
Do you guys think that Nolan Gorman has had enough runway? We get a text from Mahomes Longbody. Sometimes all it takes for potential to become production is opportunities, example Dylan Holloway. This season, Nolan Gorman could go off, and I hope he does.
He could have last year, too.
I think
that is true, though.
I think Nolan Gorman, it's just my opinion, I think he's at the last stop.
For me, it's Nolan Gorman, and it's going to sound terrible, but he gets a finite amount of at-bats this year, and if he can't show me consistency, I don't mean home runs.
Yeah.
If he's connecting with the ball, driving the ball, I don't care about the home runs.
Yeah.
But if he's striking out at the clip that he has been before, I am putting him in a package deal somewhere, and it's time to move on from said player.
I agree. I think this is his last opportunity to show and prove. I think he'll get, and I think that's why they're, I don't want to say forcing him into the lineup, but I think that's why they're putting him in the lineup. Because in order to really know what you have, the player has to play.
Yeah.
Same thing with Jordan Walker. You have to let him play to figure out if he can play or not. At some point, everything corrects itself. Like, if a guy can play, he can play.
Right.
If he can't, and he won't have success. And then you can move on from him. And I think that's where you are with Nolan Gorman. And if Jordan Walker stinks this year, that's probably where you'll be with him going into next season.
Yeah.
It all comes down to talent evaluation and certainly the time frame for some of these teams with what they have internally for certain players. But it's always going to be a fun debate either way. All right, we're at that time of the day here in the Fast Lane. We have the first part of the Sports Six-Pack, so get your questions in to the Air Comfort Service text line. That number's 314-399-9646. Sports Six-Pack next here in the Fast Lane.
is on Dorset for our tournament tip-off party.
Refreshed by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
I have a question.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
It's the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. It is time for the six-pack. Bradford, hit us.
Question number 1.
All right, gentlemen. Here we go. Let's go with the 314. Why do the Cardinals still have 2 guys playing general manager? It sounds like Bloom is stuck behind Mo.
Yeah, and that's exactly how they lined it up, right? Oh, yeah, Chaim Bloom is going to be, he's already been here, by the way, for a while. But no, he's going to shadow me for a year and find out how things go and get to work on the minor league system, which he was already working on, by the way. But this was a great way for the Cardinals to let Mo exit stage left without being pushed out the door. And that's fine. I'm okay with that.
You gotta teach him the ins and outs. You gotta show him.
Yeah, because he's never done the job before.
Well, yeah,
Carey, right?
not here, right?
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
way different in
there
Cardinal Nation.
Way different.
Way different.
Okay.
It's actually very similar, actually, to where he was in Tampa.
Well,
neither team spending any money.
Wow, you know
what?
Jamie,
No?
I don't like your upbeat, your non-upbeat attitude. You should leave at 5:15.
You know what, Carey? Fun. You do that way. And you know what? I don't want to see your face next week.
Fine.
What about me? Am I gone next week?
No. You're here.
You're great.
Oh,
You're just
damn.
fantastic.
I guess I didn't put in my vacation.
You can stay. You can stay. I don't know, man. I think, that he's finishing up his last year. That he's under contract. He's going to work. And, I don't know. I think things are trending in a different direction, but who knows, man. We'll see March 27th, opening day. We'll see what the Cardinals do. We'll see who the opening day roster is. We'll see who the starting center fielder is. We'll see if who's the starting catcher. There are still, I think, some things that are left to be sorted out. But, until you're about a month and a half in, you will not know what this Cardinals team is. We can assume they may come out and surprise the hell out of us. They might not, but they could. So we'll see.
Question 2, please.
Question number 2.
From a 618, the Blues are called a blue-collar team. Can you give examples of a non-blue-collar team? And are they called a white-collar team? And please explain the difference between a blue-collar and a non-blue-collar team.
My goodness. Okay, so white-collar, blue-collar, I mean, this applies to everything in life, right? A white-collar job is someone who wears a suit to work every day, corporate, a lot of Zoom calls and, conference room meetings and things like that. I would say pretty accurate, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. And a blue-collar job, and here's what some people think. White-collar job, they make more money. No, not necessarily, okay? Trust me, not necessarily. Blue-collar job, people make a great living doing that too, but they are into their work. They're up, they're building things. It's manual labor, it's physically demanding. It's
like the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. Like a white-collar team would be like the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
So much talent, they're so good. They don't really get themselves dirty. They don't have to. They're making
it feels like that's soft.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Now, white-collar people work hard, too.
I know, you work hard, but it's not the physical.
But they
like,
wear the white collar.
You don't
and
work,
they don't get dirty.
You're not sweating. You don't have dirt and grind and grit under your fingernails.
It's like Howard Hamlin. He would always wear the white-collared shirts for Better Call Saul.
Oh, yeah.
But, Saul was the one who was, out in the field, right?
Yeah.
He was getting down and dirty.
You're right.
Yeah. 100% right. And that's what the Blues are.
Okay.
They're a team that finish their hits, they block shots, they stick up for each other, they drag it out into the alley.
See, but
they don't go to the conference room to figure it out. They drag it out into the alley and figure it out.
So, but sometimes you have a team that people think are a white-collar team, and they actually got some grit to them. I think about the St. Louis Rams in the 90s, and 99
Carey,
Rams.
Stop.
What?
We don't talk about the Rams here anymore.
No, the St. Louis Rams.
They're fine.
We don't
we
talk
talk about
that.
the St. Louis Rams.
Nope.
Not that team that left and went to another city.
You've
another
lost
state.
me already.
Yeah, the 99 Rams, they were thought of as a soft team and not blue-collar, not hard workers. They were what some would consider a white-collar because they had so much talent.
They had white jerseys, too.
They did have white, and sometimes the collars would be white.
But,
and then sometimes it would be blue.
Blue.
Yeah,
it's just fun, too.
Yeah, they do
it's a
both.
nice option.
Yeah, they can do both.
Yeah.
Like their team. They can do both.
Yeah.
Yeah. But normally, white-collar teams are soft as,
baby poop.
I was going to say the other word, but we don't have a dump button here. Bradford, stay ready.
Well played, by the way. Dump button. Good one.
There you go. Exactly.
Nice.
All right. Question 3, please.
Question number 3.
From the 314, if the Blues miss the playoffs to Vancouver by 1 point, will the fans blame Justin Falk like I heard them doing last night at Enterprise?
Come on, enough.
Didn't Justin Falk almost score the game-winning goal?
Justin Falk scored the other night in Nashville.
It was beautiful.
He's been playing really good, man, especially in the absence of Colton Parayko. Justin Falk has raised his game. So
he has.
We're not blaming him. What you're going to do is you're going to blame games that you lost earlier in the year that you should have. You're going to blame the month of January where you should have performed at a higher level. That's where you go for me. I don't isolate one player because it's not one player. It's not one play, Carey.
Yeah, I've
it's
said
several
that
plays that
exactly.
turn into several games and missed opportunities. Enough with the Justin Falk crap.
I will say
it's easy to blame somebody.
It would have been a bad look if Quinn Hughes would have scored on that turnover in overtime. It would have been a bad look.
Well,
I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying it would have been a bad look.
So it's a bad
Much like Vancouver fans,
literally,
for whatever reason, don't like EP40 right now.
You're literally contributing to the hatred.
I'm not. I'm just saying it would have been a bad look.
He did kind of fuel it a little bit more.
I'm not saying anything different that other people are thinking.
And he put another long
one.
Not a big one, just a little long.
Not only did he shoot the puck into the bench, he also had a turnover. It kind of
They watched the game.
This is
People
March.
watch the damn game.
Totally, he is stirring it
They
up.
watched the game. I'm not saying anything that other people didn't see.
They forgot.
Oh, they just forgot.
They won.
What if they did forget?
They did win.
So all things are forgotten. It's the nebulizer or whatever that's called.
The neuralizer.
There you go.
Nebulizer. That's the little thing you do for asthma, is it not? The nebulizer?
It is. I always say it wrong. Neutralizer.
Neuralizer.
Carey, I like yours better. Let's do a nebulizer instead.
There you go.
Sweet. All right, we'll be back with part 2 of the six-pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Broadcasting live from Cyberg's on Dorset for our tournament tip-off party.
Refreshed by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
I have a question.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question. Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
It's a Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Second part of the Sports Six-Pack. Bradford, if you will, please.
Question number 4.
All right, from the 314, if the Blues win the Cup / have a deep run in the playoffs in the next few years, is Doug Armstrong's best move of his career signing Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg? Do you think that would override his move to trade for Ryan O'Reilly?
It's pretty tough to say that because you got a Stanley Cup.
Well, in this scenario, you are winning a Stanley Cup.
Oh, wow.
So now you're comparing the two.
So, do it, Jamie. Do it. Go ahead.
So is it both Holloway and Broberg?
Yeah.
But what if, like, Dvorsky and Snuggerud end up being 100-point players? Wouldn't that be his best move then, drafting those guys?
Well, yeah. I just think like the way that how savvy he was with how he went about it. Like anybody could trade or draft a player, but we don't see that many offer sheets happen. And the fact that he did it, and then this was the year that ultimately sparked what will be the Blues in the future. To me, I think I'm saying it is probably one of his best, if not the best move that he's made.
Marshy sold on it.
Based on where the team is right now, right? Like the Blues were, yeah, they missed the playoffs before they traded for O'Reilly, but, you know, prior to that, they were in the Western Conference Final. They had the building blocks already. We're coming off 2 years of not having playoff hockey.
Yeah. Oh.
He doesn't want to, Marshy.
No, here's the thing.
No,
He's conflicted.
It's an either or for sure.
Yeah, I just don't want to be too aggressive with my thought process here when this is the.
When have you never wanted to be aggressive?
That's a good point.
What the hell are you talking
Okay,
about?
Let me word it differently. I don't want to get too excited.
Okay.
To where, you know, like what if Holloway doesn't have another good season next year? Like what if
That's fair.
Broberg, like, so then if I'm a prisoner of the moment right now and I go, oh yeah, that's the best move he's ever made, but then the players are average the rest of their careers or something like that, I don't think that'll happen.
Well, yeah,
okay?
did the Blues win a Stanley Cup, though, if they are?
You're right. Okay. You know what, Marshy? Fine. You know what? If you're just going to friggin' bully me right now, fine. Yeah, it's the greatest move any GM has ever made, okay? No,
Said it's never been done before.
It has never
there
been
you
done
go.
before.
So it might be.
You're right. And you know what, Carey? That right there is actually what sold me.
Yeah,
Yes. The
there you
answer is yes. Because nobody else in the history of the game has ever double offer sheeted.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes.
I guess nothing I said convinced you, but at least we got there.
I did get there. Next question,
Took
please.
a while.
Question number 5.
All right, from the 618, how bad does your bracket have to be?
You don't have one team that could potentially make the Final Four.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you don't have a Final Four team left, you're done. If you got one Final Four team, you still got a chance. But once all your teams are out of it by Final Four time, it's a wrap. It's officially busted.
Yeah,
it's busted up. So
okay.
I hope that's no one yet. I mean, some of you Mizzou fans, sorry.
Like my bracket right now is.
I'm sorry.
Just stop. You're not sorry.
I am.
You're absolutely
They're
not
a good
sorry.
team.
Why would you bring up Mizzou?
Because they lost in the first round.
Clemson lost.
We don't live in Clemson. We don't live in Carolina. I live in South Carolina. Nobody's watching
there
Clemson.
There was no reason for you to say Mizzou.
We're
None.
in Missouri, the state we are in. This is the state school, and they took an L.
Your sentence was
They
already
went
over.
against the Drake Bulldogs, and they didn't show up well enough.
Your sentence was already
and it's
over.
hard.
And then you went, Mizzou. Like, what the hell's that crap?
I don't know.
We'll find out tomorrow. Illinois.
We play tonight.
We'll find out tonight.
But
ILL.
No.
INI.
COU.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're the only one saying it at this point.
I know. I don't even know why, because I don't believe it either.
My bracket is at 61% right now. I consider that to be busted.
61%.
But I have all
How does he
four.
have a percentage?
I don't.
How do you get a percentage?
Well, I did it on ESPN.
Oh.
Yeah,
cheated
I don't know how it
You
works,
cheated.
but what do you mean I didn't cheat?
cheated.
If I cheated, I'd have a good bracket.
You probably auto-filled it.
No, I didn't.
Autofill.
Yeah.
But I have all 4 of my Final Four teams still alive, but my
Okay.
bracket's 61%. I consider that busted because it stinks.
No,
I don't disagree.
Because if you still got a chance, the team that you thought to win the national championship is still going.
Coming from 4 brackets over here.
Yeah, I'm looking at one of mine
That's
right
in
here.
your stage name, 4 brackets.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. Catch your next movie, 4 brackets, starring in Prison Bound on Tubi.
What's up? Painkiller.
Prison Bound. I like that one better. I actually was breaking out of prison.
Hey, what's worse, having more fantasy, having multiple fantasy football teams, or having multiple brackets?
Well, I have multiple
And
fantasy
what's the
football teams.
What's the threshold
Multiple
for that?
fantasy football teams for sure.
That's worse?
That's way worse, man.
Why?
Have one team and live by it.
No, I have. So you play. I play with
Oh, God,
multiple.
Carey, I thought I knew you.
No, listen. So I am in multiple fantasy football leagues, right? I got the ESPN one-on-one league. I got one
Okay.
with
I
my
thought
college
you were
buddies.
just creating different teams.
Oh no, hell no.
That to me is like, what are you doing?
I'm in multiple.
One, how
leagues.
much time do you have in your life to do
I don't
that?
have. Well,
I don't have time to do anything.
I got more time since I stopped coaching high school football. Whew,
Yeah. Well, naturally, but imagine if you still coach high school football.
that was a lot.
It is a lot.
A lot of work for not a lot of money. Love my kids though. Shout out to those guys.
Yeah. It's all about the kids.
It always is.
All right, next question, please.
Question number 6.
All right, from the 636, did you guys see that there is odds out for Alex Ovechkin breaking Wayne Gretzky's record, and the smallest odds is plus 110 that he will not break it this season? Do you think Ovi will break it, and in how many games? He needs 7.
He got 13 games left.
12 or 13
games.
He's definitely going to get. He'll have one game where he gets 2. It's inevitable he'll have a multi-goal game at some point.
Is it better for the league that he gets it now, or if he gets it at the beginning of next season to start off the NHL season?
I think it's better this year. They got a good team.
They do have a good team.
Yeah, you break the record, you got a good team. You got a chance to maybe make a play, push in the Stanley Cup
I think
playoffs.
there's less build-up if it carries over. Because everybody
Yeah.
was like,
Good
it's
call.
inevitable, right? Okay, he's 2 goals away,
Right.
big
Yeah.
deal. He's going to get it. He's got 81
Yeah.
82 games to get it.
It'd be different, I think, if he was retiring. Like if it was like Albert, right?
If this was his last season
If this was his
ever,
last season ever.
He's
yeah.
up for contract, I believe.
I thought he had one more year
I think
left.
Capitol said they were going to let him walk.
No way.
I'm just kidding. Ted Leonsis has said that he will retire a Washington Capital. He said there's a 0.0 chance that Alex Ovechkin goes anywhere else. So I'm going to check this out just because it is topical. I can barely see in here.
Yeah, we turned the lights off. We set the mood. Hey,
It is a lot colder, though, thank God. I was sweating buckets earlier. All right, Alex Ovechkin does have one more year.
Okay.
At a measly $9.5 million. How is he going to make ends meet?
Huh.
I need to.
And he won't even
how
retire
to
either.
skate.
Like he'll retire from the NHL, but he'll go to the KHL.
I don't even know why he would retire from the NHL. Like, if he, let's say this year, how many goals does he have this year already? I think he's pushing, 35, 40 goals
think so.
this year? I'm
35.
35 goals right now is what he's got?
Why would you retire?
I can't find his damn stats.
He's got 35 goals.
Okay.
57 points on the year.
In 53 games.
Yeah.
So he's over a point a game.
Yeah.
Let's say next year he gets 35 goals again.
Yeah, and that team's still going to be
And let's
good.
say he only has 80 points.
Yeah.
That's an effective hockey player.
Right.
Keep playing, man. Set up in your office, and we'll just keep rolling this out until you start to suck.
If they're paying, keep playing.
Yeah.
I understand,
The
though,
guy's
if he
an
wants
absolute
to,
unit.
he wants to go play for, a team in his home country.
But why would he want to do that?
Why would Jaromir Jagr do it?
Well, because Yager's 57 years old.
But not when he left.
He was older. He was
older.
He was like mid-40s, 44 years old.
Oh, you don't like old players now?
I love old players.
Oh, okay, just asking.
He probably would have eclipsed the 3,000 games mark if
Probably
he would have kept playing in the NHL.
He's getting close. He's getting close. So, all right, well, that was the Sports Pick six-pack here in the Fast Lane. When we come back, we're going to talk more Blues hockey. And can you imagine what this blue line will look like when Colton Parayko returns? It could be a bit of a problem. We'll get into that next here on 101 ESPN.
Return. The Fast Lane is broadcasting live from Cyberg's on Dorset for our tournament tip-off party.
Refreshed by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Well, I'll say this about Tucker. He's a really good offensive defenseman, and as he matures in this league, you're going to see plays like that more and more.
Score! Right off the face-off to Tyler Tucker. We're tied 2-2.
He really understands. His hockey brain is really good. It's underestimated by a lot of people, and I think people will see that over the next couple of years of how good a Blue he's going to be for us.
Well, that was your head coach, Jim Montgomery of the St. Louis Blues, talking about Tyler Tucker and just the way he has progressed here this season in particular. You know, he came on the scene 2 seasons ago, kind of made his mark. Craig Berube fell in love with the way Tyler Tucker played. A big, strong guy, tough, willing to throw the mitts down. Then he kind of took a step backwards a little bit with his development. I don't know if there was some injuries or whatever. He just didn't seem like the same player. But since coming back this time, he has provided the Blues with a tremendous amount of physicality. His anticipation of the game is fantastic. He's closing out plays quickly. He's moving the puck better. He's shooting the puck all the time, which is great. Gets a nice goal last night. Obviously a huge goal for the Blues. But, guys, what do you think here? Like, the obvious answer, there's only one answer. When Colton Parayko comes back, there's only one answer as to who leaves the lineup.
Correct.
It's Tyler Tucker.
Yep.
Right? And it's a bit of a shame because he's done everything the Blues have wanted him to do.
Right.
And probably more, for that matter. But your lineup is best with Colton Parayko in and Tyler Tucker out. Now, here's the best part, though. If there's an injury, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
If someone stumbles, let's say you're in a playoff series, and Nick Leddy or Ryan Suter or Justin Falk, they stumble. They just can't put the games together consistently. If you're Jim Montgomery, you don't have any issue putting Tyler Tucker in the lineup at that point. So he's really done himself a favor by playing as well as he has. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but that's kind of where I'm at.
I think you're 100% correct. When Parayko comes back, he's going to be, first man in, last man in, first man out. That's generally how it happens. He has been playing well. I like hearing Monty talk about his hockey brain, like playing the game. Jamie, you know this like I do. There are times.
Some people say hockey players are the smartest.
Okay. Hey, well, they say football players are the dumbest, so you might be right.
Oh, I never say that about football players.
I would push back on that.
No, I 100%.
Who's dumber, offensive players or defensive players?
Defense.
Wow.
Their playbook is this: one sheet.
Now, we've had some
ball, get ball.
See ball, get ball.
We've had some defensive players that push back against that, Carey.
Yeah, I know. That's because they don't know any better.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Offense is where it's at. So
X-wing Y2 banana split.
There you go. You got to know a lot of different things.
Omaha.
1, 2, can, all these different things. But no, I think that Tyler Tucker, I think what you're seeing is the game is slowing down, right? It's becoming slower. And when you say that, people are like, what the hell does that mean? How does the game doesn't slow down. It does. Like, you can anticipate quicker.
See things clearer.
Man, it's like it's less people. When you're younger, when you're first into the game, it's like it's going so darn fast.
I always say that. It felt like there's 8 players on the other team.
It's too many people out here, Coach. Coach, we need a timeout. They're cheating because they got too many guys. Nah, it's the number that they're supposed to have. They got 5. Nah, Coach, I think. Did they pull the goalie? Because it's definitely 6 out here.
I feel like I can't get anywhere.
But when you get older and the game starts slowing down, it's like you see things much more clear, and Tyler Tucker is probably experiencing that. You're getting more opportunities, more playing time, and the game begins to slow down, and you gain confidence. So you take shots, you block a shot, you get the puck off to your teammate, and then you go score the game go-ahead goal. Like, the game is slowing down for him, and that's it's so much more fun as a player when you have control over your body and what the hell is going on, and you aren't rushed through everything, and you get the best version of that player when that happens.
I think the way that the Blues are playing right now lends itself to Tyler Tucker's play. They're a physical team. They're strong. They're blocking out guys in front. Like, that is Tyler Tucker's game. And I think, we talk about the Blues going through the stretch run and how important it is for the young players. Like, this right here is very important for Tyler Tucker. I think he's playing fantastic right now, but it's almost like oh man, yeah, Colton Parayko's going to come back eventually, but it's like, I wish we could play with 7 defensemen because I love watching him play.
Yeah, it's a tough spot for a young player like that, but here's one thing that Tyler Tucker can be happy about. He brings an element to this blue line that nobody else does.
Yeah.
Ryan Suter plays tough. He's dirty. He's old. He's gritty. All those things. But he ain't dropping the mitts with Matthew Olivier. He ain't dropping the mitts with Brady Tkachuk. So you've got Tyler Tucker, who's a bit of an equalizer out there when it comes to being physical.
Yeah.
And whether that plays out this year, like once Parayko comes back or not, moving forward next season and beyond, Tyler Tucker will be in your top 6 defensemen. He will be playing on a regular basis.
Yeah, he makes some of the older players on the blue line expendable in a sense. So once their contract is up, if you're Doug Armstrong, you feel comfortable not extending them because you already know you have a guy right there. I thought at the beginning of the year, Matthew Kessel was going to be the guy that
he was projected to be.
Right, but that's what happens, right? Like you get playing time and
it just didn't work out.
It just didn't work out, and he got sent down not because of necessarily his play, right? It's just from a roster.
Well, they were able to send him down without waivers. Again,
exactly.
Those options that we talk about.
Correct. Right, but Tyler Tucker comes in and he's made the most of it, and that's what you have to do.
You talked about, I think it was yesterday, you talked about if Ryan Suter does come back, he's probably the guy that is playing 40 games.
He's a 6'7" defenseman.
That's where Tyler Tucker could be the one that gets into that spot. He's younger, but you want to keep the veteran player around if he's willing to be here and understand his role, still mentor, practice. And when a guy goes down with an injury, a guy is banged up, he can slide in there and there's no drop off of the play.
No, and you're going to have other things that you're going to have to make decisions on too, other players moving forward. I mean, Army's got lots of work to do regardless of where the Blues finish this year, whether it's in the playoffs, out of the playoffs, or anything like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. All right, we are here at Cyberg's for another 45 minutes, watching NCAA basketball, eating food. Carey's got a whole spread in front of him here. It smells unbelievable. Come on down, check it all out. That will wrap it up for me. I have to head out to the St. Louis Blues Warriors hockey team. They have their big annual gala tonight. I have the privilege and the honor of emceeing that, so I've got to get on my way out there. But you guys, I know you got the rest of the show under control. Appreciate you guys. Carey, have a great vacation.
Thank you, sir.
Have a safe trip.
Appreciate
you. Please do come back.
We'd
like
I'll be
to see
back.
you back. And everybody else, have a great weekend. What do we got next, Marshy?
We're going to dive into some March Madness. Are all upsets in March Madness, are they created equally?
Ooh, sounds spicy. I'll be listening on my way to the gala. You guys have a great weekend. Again, this is Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN.
Lane is broadcasting live from Cyberg's on Dorset for our tournament tip-off party.
Refreshed by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Andrew Marsh. Bradford Bruns in the studio spinning the dials, and we are still at Cyberg's on Dorset for another 45 minutes. Come on down and check us out. Talk to myself and Marsh and say hello, take a picture, eat some wings, and have a beer. And we are talking about some March Madness. That's what's going on down here. All the TVs are on, watching the basketball games. So, Marshy, are all upsets in March Madness created equally? And I'm going to lead it off. I'm going to say no, not even close. Because an upset to me is a team that, one doesn't expect. I'll give you a perfect example.
Yep.
A team that you don't even know where they are, where they're from.
Like St. Peter's.
Or like High Point. You said it's a great restaurant, but you didn't know where they're from. Nobody knew. So I think when you have a team that you're unfamiliar, McNeese State beating Clemson the other day.
Yeah.
That is an upset. North Carolina playing this game versus Ole Miss. They were down by 20 at halftime, or almost 20, and they are the lower seed. They're the 11th seed. Ole Miss is the 6th seed. They're probably going to lose this game, but had North Carolina won that game, I don't know that that's an upset.
Yeah.
Because that's North Carolina. That's a name brand. Everyone knows North Carolina. So, Marshall, what do you think? Do you think that all upsets in the NCAA tournament are created equally?
I do not, and, you brought up, like, the UNCs, right? They're taking their final shot, and unfortunately for them, they're not moving on. But if they were to have beaten Ole Miss, it's the name brand, right? Like,
Correct.
You don't really think that it's necessarily an upset. I look at it from even, like, some of the mid-majors. Like, are some of these mid-majors overlooked?
Definitely.
Here's a tweet that I saw from T3 Bracketology. Drake and UC San Diego went a combined 60-7 in the regular season, but would have went to the NIT if they had one bad night on a neutral floor against a top 100 team in a title game. Think about that. And it had me thinking, like, oh man, like, some of these mid-major teams are a lot better than we actually think they are, but we never hear about them. And then you could bring up the idea of, well, maybe they just need to schedule better non-conference opponents. But I would bet you that none of these blue blood schools would want to play them because it's a lose-lose situation.
I think it's in basketball, definitely. I think this is why you see more upsets than what you would have seen in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Because in basketball, things I believe are more there's more parity in terms of the ability to play the game. If you got a guy that can hoop, he can hoop at any level. It doesn't matter if he's at Davidson and his name is Steph Curry, or if he's at Purdue or Michigan or one of these other schools, because guys that can hoop can hoop. And one thing about college basketball is, basketball players, generally speaking, all grow up in the same environment, playing one another. So there's also a level of confidence with that in comparison to a football team. So I think that the upsets are more likely to happen in college basketball in the NCAA tournament because of that, because of the parity, and because if you got a guy that can hoop, he's going to be able to hoop no matter where he's hooping at.
Well, and some athletes, they just develop at a later age, right? Like some guys are fully developed leading into their college tenure, and then those guys could go to one of the bigger schools, whereas someone could develop, whether it's physically or skill-wise, while they're at one of these mid-majors. And then now with the transfer portal, then you start seeing some of those guys get scooped up, and then they end up going to one of the bigger schools. But also with these mid-majors, I also feel like they have to play more of a team game rather than relying on just skill players, some of the better players on like a Florida or name one of your big teams.
I think that, and I agree with that. I think you look, and I know people are going to text in and say I'm a hater, but you look at Drake versus Mizzou. Like that's not a powerhouse team. Mizzou was one in my opinion, the best conference in college basketball this year, but you were able to get beat because they play as a team. I remember years ago, we would always watch Princeton make it to the tournament, and they would be beating people because these Ivy League players can backdoor cut better than anybody, and nobody can prepare for it or are able to stop it. That's what basketball is. There are systems and there are teams that have elite players, but when you have a team that does not have a group of elite talent and you play a certain way, and now a team has to adjust to what you're doing, it's almost like nowadays if a team were to play all year long.
Right.
So it's a different game plan of playing a team that is comfortable and familiar in their system, and here you are a week ahead of time trying to figure out how to stop it. And that might be what Mizzou ran into yesterday, probably what Clemson ran into yesterday. When you have teams that are comfortable and familiar in their system and it's a shock to your system in terms of what they're running, it becomes a little bit difficult to handle.
Bradford, you're a basketball aficionado. What is your take on this?
Quite honestly, guys, I've been in that camp for years now that a lot of these mid-major programs really haven't been getting their just due. Now, I think you look at the assembly of talent, though, involved in this year's tournament, and even though we saw, for instance, during the regular season, bear in mind so much depth in a conference like the SEC, obviously one of the heavyweight conferences there, at the same time, we have been so set in devising the brackets, basically looking forward and projecting that the cream of the crop at the end of the tournament, right, will rise to the top and ultimately be the squads to be playing for the Final Four, Sweet 16, Elite 8, and so forth. So it's almost as if the in vogue thing to do, and this has been the case for quite a while, you still try to target those, middle of the road to lower rung teams in the early rounds. But have we ever really given the respect to them as far as being able to break through and venture and advance deeper into the tournament? I still think that remains in question this year because, as you guys know, when you get past the first weekend of the tournament, that's really when the truly formidable teams reveal themselves, and you're talking about an entirely different brand of basketball. So I'm a little guarded with it right now because you know that there is a switch that gets flipped as soon as you head on to next Thursday.
I think, Bradford, to your point, I think it doesn't really until a mid-major actually wins a national title, really and supplants themselves as one of those teams. I think Gonzaga has done a great job of changing that narrative. I think Butler, when they went to the national championship with Gordon Hayward years ago, that helped change that narrative. Yeah. But you got to win. Like and not just win one. You probably got to win a few in a 3 to 4, not 3 to 4 in a row, but 3 or 4 year span where you're playing for a championship, winning one in another championship. Like, I think that helps shift that narrative. But to your point, Marcia, I also think what NIL has done, now these mid-major teams cannot compete with some of the Power 5 conferences and some of the bigger conferences, but you still have players all over the place that can hoop and are getting paid for it.
Well, and to your point, too, when we talk about having to win multiple times, two things that I take into consideration with that and why that is next to nearly impossible, think of like Loyola, right? Mm-hmm. Loyola, they had a pretty decent run. They went to the Final Four, but then they they beat Illinois.
I thought that's where you were going.
I forgot they beat Illinois until you just brought it up.
I've never forgot. I will never forget. Yeah. Marsh, Sister Jean,
Sister Jean. But what have they done since, right?
Exactly.
There's nothing really there. But why is that? Well, it's coaching, right? That's why some of the better coaches that we see in college basketball, they start at the smaller level. You could say the same thing for football.
Yeah.
Like, that's why those coaches end up becoming the best coaches in the country. And then for that 1 year or that, 1 to 3 years or whatever it is, like that mid-major team is one to be reckoned with and could upset a few teams in the tournament.
And Marcia, that's also the reason that you have so much turnover in the mid-major schools, because when those coaches perform well, they get the hell out of there.
Absolutely.
Like they find somewhere else. But you look at the consistency of a team like Creighton, who Greg McDermott has been there for almost, I think, 15 years. Yeah. Right? So that's why they've always been good. I'm sure people have tried to poach him and get him to come to, a bigger conference, a bigger school, but he stayed where he's at. And you've seen the longevity of the Creighton Blue Jays because of their coach being there and sustaining that success. That's Andrew Marsh. I'm Carey Davis. We return. Get your text in for Would You Rather. Give us a scenario and ask us, would we rather do one thing or the other? We'll talk about it next when we return on the Fast Lane.
is broadcasting live from Cyberg's on Dorset for our tournament tip-off party.
Refreshed by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Helps if I turn my mic on. Welcome back to the Fast Lane. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Andrew Marsh, and it is time for Would You Rather. Get your text in to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Marshy, let's go.
All right, from the 636, would you rather watch your favorite team go winless or watch your rival team win a championship?
That's hard, man. I cannot watch my favorite team go winless. Like, that's a different type of pain that I don't think anyone. Oh Lord, Marshy, you okay? The table just broke.
It just broke.
Wow, that's not great. We're gonna have to
no
on the fly. All right.
Oh boy,
got a little bit of issues on air. Marshy's table broke as he were.
I wasn't even leaning on it. It just broke.
Hey guys,
snapped.
it's not time to go home yet.
No, it's not.
No, I guess
Marshy,
I'll just hold this up.
You been in the weight room?
Oh my God.
You been in the
I
weight room?
actually have,
yeah. Marshy been in the weight room.
I'll just hold it up, Doty. It's no big deal.
Move the brace over a little bit.
Where's the brace
Right
at?
to your left knee.
My left knee.
All right.
All right.
We'll
I
figure
don't
it out.
know.
So to answer your question, Marshy,
Yeah.
no, I would not want my favorite. Oh, goodness gracious.
This
Break
is
it down.
This is
This is
bad.
bad.
This
This
is
is really bad. If
gonna
you're
hold this
watching
up.
on YouTube, you can see Marshy's table break down. It's all good. It happens. Yeah, my favorite team losing every game is a different level of stress, I believe. I don't think I would want to watch that. I would be okay, not be okay, but I would be better off watching my rival team win a championship. I've seen it, right? So I'd be okay with that.
The 314 blames this table breaking on Jamie Rivers. That sounds about right.
It's probably Jamie's fault. Yeah.
I'm actually pretty impressed that I was able to catch
You did
everything.
catch it. And nothing, I mean, your drink fell.
It did, but
The
there
ice.
was no water in
It's
it.
just
It
ice.
was just ice.
Yeah.
We got
So we're
Doty
good.
fixing things.
Doty is the man. He does.
Okay.
And he snapped it right back into place. Look at that.
There you go.
Whoa.
Look at that.
That is amazing.
Bend
Good
and
job.
snap, right?
Yeah, it did.
The old bend and snap.
There you go. Now we're back in the game. Thank you, Doty. Shout out to Doty. Doty does everything for us when we're
All
on
right.
remotes. Hey, you ready?
I'm
You good?
ready.
All right.
We are all trying to gather ourselves, or at least I am, but we are all good. I will not touch the table the rest of the
right.
show. Okay, let's move on to Marsh's college program.
Ah.
Would you rather attend the Final Four or attend the Masters? You can only pick one, and after you attend, you can never attend again. That's actually from Chester. Chester is Marsh's college program. Chester, is he still here? He
I don't
probably
know.
he probably
might be
beat you and
listening.
then left.
He probably did. Said, I got to get the hell out of here. Beat the hell out of this guy and keep it moving. So in full disclosure, I've been to the Final Four. I got to watch my Illini. They lost. They lost to North Carolina in the championship game, but I was at both games. It was actually in St. Louis. It was a great time to be alive. Thank you so much. It was a great time to be alive and watch my Illini play for a national championship. My guy, D. Brown and Darren Williams and Luther Head, like those were my guys. So since I've already had that experience.
Yeah.
Well, nope, I'm lying, because if Illinois makes it to the Final Four again, I'm going again, buddy.
So you got to do the Masters. Well, honestly, the Masters would probably be the one because it's like hard to get a ticket to go to the Masters.
Yeah, man, but I don't want to see my Illini play in the Final Four, and I don't get a chance to
but
partake in that.
then you get to never go again. That was part of it.
Oh.
You pick one and then
Well,
you don't
yeah,
get to
I don't
go
need
again.
that. Marshy, I went to Illinois. We might not. It might be one and done.
That's fair.
You know, it might be. So damn it, give me that.
Okay.
All right.
Here's another one from the 636. Would you rather have your favorite team win the national championship, or would you rather have a perfect bracket and win $1 million?
Oh, these are terrible decisions. I think my favorite team.
Your favorite team.
You're telling me right now I can bypass $1 million and the University of Illinois will win a national championship in football.
Yes. Oh, no, basketball.
Is it basketball? You said favorite team.
Yeah, but it's like.
Can we get some clarification?
Well, okay, your favorite team in it has to do with the bracket. So
okay.
Favorite team. So it would still be Illinois winning a national championship.
But let me tell you, Marshall.
I know football means more to you.
If the football team had an opportunity to win the national championship, and I had $1 million sitting there.
Okay, we'll use this then. We'll go with that.
I'm probably going national championship.
Wow.
I probably am. Like I listen. Man, me and my friends, my former teammates, we talk about that moment.
Yeah.
Like, what would you do if ever? You know,
I'd give up $1 million.
Yeah.
In a perfect bracket.
In a perfect bracket. I'd say the fast lane it. Give me Illinois winning the national championship in football, because when the hell is it going to happen? You know? When are you going to see that? You got to understand, Marsh. I'm like, me going to Illinois, I kind of got some of that feeling, that bad juju that Cub fans got.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my friends are Cub fans.
Oh,
right? They're terrible people, but I love them.
Yeah.
Despite that. And so when the Cubs finally won their championship, it was like a weight lifted off of them in their lives.
Yeah.
And they were living better lives from that point on.
I bet. Could you imagine? Let's take a second. Just take a second.
I really feel bad.
Imagine what we talk about with the Cardinals in the past 2 years, right? Imagine doing that for 100 years.
Yes. Yes. 100 years of that, of suffering.
With like maybe one or two like mixed in, but like that one time where you actually think you have a shot, and some guy in the stands.
Random guy grabs
a foul ball.
And the whole city blames him, and he has to go into hiding.
Yeah.
This is terrible people.
Yeah.
But still, some of my favorite people. So yeah, I would want to see Illinois win a national championship in football. I would cry.
I'm taking the bracket. One, you're getting $1 million, and you're getting a perfect bracket. Like, how often does that happen?
How many times Illinois played in the national championship?
Well, that's fair.
Never. I'll take never.
It's an odds game at this point. The 618 says, if I make a perfect bracket, I'm having my favorite team win it. It's a win-win. I don't know if that.
I don't know that works that way.
Yeah,
I don't think you can. I don't think you can manipulate the system in that manner.
No. It's like the wheel, right? The wheel. From the 314, would you rather go on a vacation to Hawaii or have your favorite team win a national championship?
Again, I'm taking my favorite team, man. I gotta see this before my life ends. Illinois playing for a national championship, not basketball. I've seen that. It didn't turn out well. Hats off to the University of North Carolina. Still don't like him. We had Roy Williams on last year, and I let him know how I felt about him. He's a great guy, I'm sure. He was a great guy with us, but I didn't like him because he beat us, right?
The 618 reminds us of Sean May as well.
Yeah, I don't need your help, 618. I know who the hell it was. I know what the hell he did. Number 42, still in my nightmares.
Yep.
Big fella. Give me Illinois, man. I got to go Illini. And listen, I hope everyone hears this clearly.
Yeah, looks like you can cancel your trip.
No. If Illinois, even in basketball, if Illinois goes on to win the national championship, I am going to be unbearable on these airwaves.
Oh, I bet it.
I am all you Mizzou fans, you think you don't like me now? I'm going to dig in deeper. I'm going to the depths. Every corner I could go to, I'm digging in as far as I can. Your best bet is to hope that Illinois gets knocked out in the first round, just like the Missouri Tigers did.
What would be worse, an Illinois national championship or another Dodgers World Series?
That'd be great for me. Wouldn't be worse.
I mean, for the rest of the city.
Yeah, if you're listening to us, you probably don't want to hear either. But you're probably more likely to get a Dodgers World Series than an Illinois championship.
All right, here is the last one, and it is pretty easy for you. You basically just answered it. But from the 314, would you rather your favorite team win the national championship in basketball or football?
Oh, football. Yeah, all day. My Illini winning the national championship for a team that, I mean, we got some long-suffering fans. I am one of them. It is a relationship that I cannot and will not get out of because I love them that much. And it's been times where I've been hurt by them. But I'm going to stick beside them. I love my Illini, and I'm going to stay there, and we're going to someday. Coach B got it going in the right direction, so hopefully we can continue it. That's Andrew Marsh. I'm Carey Davis. Coming up, we have what we learned today, criticisms and compliments, and 3 stars. That'll be next when we return on the Fast Lane.
Fast Lane is broadcasting live from Cyberg's on Dorset for our tournament tip-off party.
Refreshed by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Andrew Marsh. Jamie Rivers is off to do that Hockey Blues Warriors game. Is that what? Banquet. It's not a game. Okay. He's the MC.
So he'll be talking more tonight.
He will be talking more. Anthony will be back on Monday, fresh off a vacation with the family. I will not be here on Monday. I'll be on vacation with my family. But Marshy, Jamie, Anthony will all be here. And we appreciate you all tuning in and listening all week long. Again, we're live here at Cyberg's on Dorset. Having a great time doing the March Madness tournament, watching all of the great games. Get down here if you still have an opportunity. Get you some wings, get you some Bud Light, enjoy some basketball. The Illini play tonight, and it's going to be a great start to this this tournament for my Fighting Illini.
We get a text from the 314, Carey. If the Illini didn't win it with Kendall Gill and Kenny Battle, it ain't happening.
You sound like a hater, 314. You're probably a Mizzou fan. I'm sorry. Don't rain on my parade. Okay, we had some great teams, and yeah, Kendall Gill was outstanding. Nick Anderson, the Flying Illini was a great team that they had. But no, the Illini get their chance to start their championship run tonight, Marshy, and hopefully we get it done. All right, Marsh, we got our criticisms and compliments. Oh, what we learned today.
Yes.
Marshy, you go first. What did you learn?
I learned that anybody is susceptible to having a table break on them. But luckily, we have Doty here to clean up our mess.
Thank you, Doty. Shout out to Doty.
Shout out to Doty.
Outstanding. Does everything for us.
Absolutely.
Great gentleman.
So I learned that, this table is susceptible to breaking.
Indeed. I learned that if you never believed in the BKO, you should, man.
Yeah.
We talked about it on Monday. Brandon Kiley was in with me. Jamie and Anthony were out. BK and Marsh were on on the Fast Lane, and BK made a statement. He said, Mizzou gonna win by 10. I said, Brandon, I love you, brother. Don't do this.
Yeah.
And he did it. And he doubled down and tripled down.
He did.
And now here they are, watching the tournament like us.
Yep,
it happened. So I learned that the BKO is a real thing. You didn't believe it before. All right, Marsh, what you got for criticism and compliments?
Lisa says, Marsh, I like you so much, but it's been a decade of mediocrity. I said in the previous segment,
couple of years.
It's been a couple of years that we've missed the playoffs, the Cardinals, that is. But Lisa says it's been a decade of mediocrity, so do not give them a free pass. Have a good weekend. You're allowed a dumbass comment every once in a while. That's from Lisa.
That was kind of a crap sandwich.
Oh, 100%.
Compliment.
But,
yeah. But
I like you so much.
Yeah, and you're
have
allowed,
a good weekend.
Yeah. You're allowed a dumbass comment every now and then.
I guess so.
Wow.
But, I like it. Keeps me on my toes.
It does.
Right?
It does.
Keeps me on my toes. All right, let's see what everyone else is saying. In the Snake Pit, shout out the Snake Pit. Citizen1999 says, hope everyone has a great weekend except Illinois fans.
Wow. I mean, hey, we'll have a great time. Illinois will take care of their business tonight versus Xavier, and we'll still be in the tournament.
Dimmerange said the Cardinals haven't won a championship since I was in high school. That is correct. I was in high school the last time they won a championship. I couldn't even drive yet, in fact. So,
yeah,
that's something.
That's unfortunate. It is a hard life. I do that championship was amazing, though. That's why I said earlier.
It was.
Watching the Blues play as well as they played last night gave me a feeling, man.
Yeah.
A warm feeling. Watching meaningful sports in St. Louis meant something last night, and hopefully the Blues can keep us excited the rest of the year.
Do you ever find yourself, and I'm sure there's other people out there, watching old highlights? Like the other day, I just sat down on the couch, no one home, it was just me. For whatever reason, I just started watching Game 6 of the 2011 World Series highlights of David Freese hitting the home run. But first I started in the 9th inning, and then I worked my way up to Lance Berkman getting that base hit and tying the game after Josh Hamilton hit the home run. And then, of course, David Freese ends up hitting the game winner. Didn't even watch Game 7. I just watched Game 6. I needed to watch it.
Yeah, you need that in your life. You need joy.
I
right?
do.
Sports are supposed to bring joy to our lives, not make us depressed.
No.
And the Blues last night brought me joy, so I hope they can keep going.
Absolutely. Gator left me a present for my birthday.
Yeah.
I have not picked it up. I will swing by after the show to the station. We are right down the road. I will pick that up. So I will chat with all of you in the Discord.
Indeed.
So shout out to Gator and all the people in the Snake Pit, which leads us into our 3 stars. Third star of the day goes out to Chester, a.k.a. Marsh's College Program, a.k.a. Brendan, a.k.a. Steve.
And the guy that just keeps beating the hell out of me.
Second star of the day goes out to Doty.
Doty, thank you, Doty.
Being great,
being
helping
awesome
us
at all times.
And our first star of the day goes out to everyone who stopped by Cybergs and enjoyed a nice cold one, watched some basketball, and said hello to us.
Indeed. Had great environment, great time watching basketball. March Madness is going, it's live, it's amazing. And, you know, if you're out on the road, get down to Dorset and enjoy some wings, enjoy some Bud Light, and enjoy the game. So for myself, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter will be back on Monday. We will be here, and you will enjoy it. Thanks for watching the Fast Lane, listening. See ya.
Welcome to Staples. I hear